Hi everyone, I'm going to go through the Addmaths paper today. So this is the trial Addmaths paper and it's the Melaka paper, right? So this is Addmaths, So Addmaths and it's the Melaka paper 1 for trial 2023. Okay, so let's skip the formula and then start. Okay, question number 1. Let's read the question. Diagram 1 shows angle theta 1 and angle theta 2. Okay, I can see it. It's here and here. And then it says straight line L1 is parallel to straight line L2. So these two lines are parallel. Okay, it means theta 1 and theta 2 will be equal also lah. Yeah, because if we have two lines that are parallel and we draw a line like this, yeah, this angle and this angle will be same. Yeah. But only if they are parallel lah. Then only we can say the two angle will be same. Okay, let's see what they want now. They says by using the above information, show that the gradient of both lines M1 and M2 are the same. So we need to show them these two lines are how to say have the same gradient, right? Uh, 2 marks only. So how do we show it? All right, first of all, let's talk about gradient. What's the formula for gradient? The formula for gradient is to take y2 minus y1 divide x2 minus x1, right? Or you can also say take the difference in y divide the difference in x, right? But if you look at this question, these two lines, all right, they never give you any information, right? They never give you points, right? So I'm just gonna how to say, put some points here, right? So I'm gonna call this point A, right? And I'm gonna call this point B, and I'm gonna call this point C, and I'm gonna call this point D, right? And the origin I will call it O lah. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to try to prove to them that when I find the gradient of AB, it will be same with the gradient of CD. Okay, because they are asking us to prove these two lines have the same gradient, right? So that's why I label it, right? So how do we do that? How can we prove that? Okay, first thing first is we need to know that if let's say this angle is theta 2, so I'm going to use red color. So if this angle is theta 2, it means this angle will be theta 2 also, right? We will use this true triangle. Okay, we will use this triangle and this triangle to prove the two lines are parallel. Okay, so that is why I try to write here theta 2. Okay, and guess what? If this is theta 2, this is theta 2 as well, right? Because you learn about ZFUC, right? What is ZFUC? If Z means this angle and this angle will be same, in F means this angle and this angle same. If U means this angle plus together is 180. This one also, if like a C shape plus together is 180. Okay, so if you look at this Z, you will realize that these two lines are parallel. That is why we can say this angle and this angle will be same because it's like a Z shape, right? That's why this wait. My Z terbalik already. Okay, the Z should look like this. So actually, the theta 2 is not. Wait, let me think. Okay, sorry. So actually, wait. Theta 2. Okay. So can I write theta 2 there? No, right? I don't think so. Yeah, because they are not the same. But I can say that this blue color angle, the theta 1, this one I can use Z, right? But if I use Z, then my theta 1 will be here, right? So what I will do now? Uh, okay, class. Let me do it one more time. So okay, this angle here in this triangle, this angle here will be the same with this angle, right? The reason why is because of this F shape, right? And I told you already, if they got two parallel lines like this, and it's F, this angle and this angle will be same, right? And then the red color angle and this angle here will be the same as well because they are opposite of each other. So when you have an X shape like this, and the angle is opposite to each other, they are the same angle, right? So atas bawah sama also, kiri kanan sama also like this, right? That is why if this is the red color angle, this angle will be same with this angle, and this angle will be same with this angle because they are opposite, right? And we can also see that this theta 1, the blue color angle, we can use Z, right? We can use Z. So if you use Z, it means this angle and the theta 1 is same, right? So what we can do now is I'll use blue color to write here, and I will write, I will just use blue color, okay? Because this, to indicate that this blue color angle, this blue angle same, right? And guess what is the angle here? It's 90 degree, right? It must be 90 degree because this is the y-axis, right? And this will be 90 degree also. So what I'm trying to do now is trying to use this two triangle, this first triangle and this second triangle, to prove that they have the same gradient, right? So now we already managed to prove that these two triangle, they have same corresponding angle. Do you agree? Because these two triangle, they have three same corresponding angle, because this red color match with this red color, this blue color match with this blue color, and this 90 degrees match with this 90 degree. So we can conclude that triangle OAB, triangle OAB is similar to triangle OCD, right? And I want you to know what's the meaning of similar. You learn this word in mathematics. Similar in mathematics, you learn it in Form 5. Form 5, the transformation chapter, chapter 5, right? You learn about similar, the enlargement punya chapter, pembesaran. And what is similar? Similar means these two shape, they might not be the same size, but their ratio of all corresponding side will be equal. I repeat one more time. If I say two shapes are similar, it means they have the same shape, but they might not have different size. They might have different size. You know, they have different size, but the ratio of all corresponding sides have to be equal, right? So what I'll write here is I'll write, since triangle OAB is similar to OCD, comma, we can say that the ratio of all corresponding sides, the ratio of all corresponding sides will be equal, right? Will be equal. Do you know what I'm writing? Do you understand? It means these two triangle, they might not have the same size, right? Maybe one triangle is bigger, one is smaller. But since they all have equal angle, I mean all the corresponding angle is like equal, is same, then we can say that even though one triangle might be bigger, one triangle might be smaller, but the ratio will be exactly the same. The ratio of the sides will be exactly the same because they are similar to each other. All right. It means one of these triangle is the image of the other one under enlargement, right? And we all know the enlargement formula. We can find the scale factor by taking image divide object, right? Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is we will take any sides. Let's take OB. So I'm gonna write OB. So the ratio of OB to OA will be the same with what? So if you look carefully, OB, the corresponding side of OB will be OD. Do you agree? Because OB corresponding side is OD. Okay, so like that. And then the corresponding side for OA is OC. Okay, OC. So what I'm basically saying that is that the ratio of OB to OA is the same as the ratio of OD to OC. And why they are the ratio same? Because they are similar. And why they're similar? Because all three corresponding angle is same. Yeah, they have same corresponding angle, right? And if they have same corresponding angle, it means the ratio of all corresponding sides will be equal. That's why we can say that this thing bahagi this one is equal to this one bahagi this one, right? Because even if one side is longer, one side is shorter, but it doesn't matter because when you cut, the ratio will be same, right? And if you look at the gradient formula, it will be the difference in y bahagi difference in x. So if you look carefully at this OB over OA, the the isn't this the M1? Do you agree? You're basically finding the gradient actually, because when you take OB divide OA, you are taking the distance here divide with the distance here, which means you are taking the difference in y dividing difference in x. So we are basically using the gradient formula, right? That's why you are actually finding gradient. When you are taking OB divide OA, you are actually finding gradient. And then what about OD divide OC? Well, you are also taking the difference in y, because O to D, because if you want to find the gradient of this line, you will take any 2 points, right? Let's assume we take point C and point D. So what we are doing is we will take the difference in y, which is O to D, divide by the difference in x, which is O to C. So you're basically finding the M2. Yeah. So they want us to show that the gradient of both lines are the same, right? So this is how we show it. This is the answer, right? M1 equals M2. Okay. Okay, I look at the schema. I know the schema got used like tangent, right? Like they use tangent theta to prove it. Okay, can also. Yeah, can also. Because if you use tangent, you will get this one also. Because when you do tangent theta 1, it's opposite divide adjacent, right? Yeah, it's the same. OB over OA like that. Yeah, can also. Right? You can also do it like this. Right? But I would do it like this. Okay? So hope you understand my explanation. So and it's 2 marks only, so I don't think you have to do like a lot. Yeah. So I think this is good enough. Okay. So hope you understand. Let's continue. Okay, B question. Given 4 points, P, Q, R, and S. Okay, so all the points is given, but if I look, if the point S is like not complete, okay, because the point S they never give you the Y coordinate, and then they say if PQ is perpendicular to RS, find value of H. Okay, in Addmaths, if you see this word perpendicular, immediately you have to think about this formula: M1 times M2 equals -1. Okay, because when two lines are perpendicular, the gradient punya hasil darab is always -1, right? So what you write here is gradient of PQ times with gradient of RS equals -1 because they are perpendicular, right? Okay, what is gradient of PQ and what is gradient of RS? Okay, in the last question I just mentioned to you, right? What's the gradient formula? It's y minus y divided x minus x. So we apply that in our question. So for PQ, I will look at this point and this point. So it will be y minus y, -2 minus 1, and then x minus x, 1 minus -6, right? Then what about RS? RS is this point and this point. So I take y minus y, which is h minus 5, and then divide by x minus x, which is -3 minus 0. Right? So now let's simplify this. -2 minus 1 is just going to be -3. 1 plus 6 is just 7 times with h minus 5. -3 minus 0 is just going to be -3 equals to -1. Since I'm trying to find h, I will pindah everything to the other side except h, right? Because I want to find h, right? So what I'll do is I'll pindah this one to over there. So when you pindah this over there, it will become 7 over 3. Right? Because when you take -1 divide -3 over 7, it's the same as saying -1 times -7 over 3. I repeat one more time. Divide -3 over 7 means times -7 over 3. Okay? It means you divide jadi times and then you terbalik these two. Okay? And then negative negative become positive. So you end up with 7 over 3. That's why I write 7 over 3 here. Right? Okay, now the next step is to find h. So how to find h? First you pindah the -3 lah. But when you pindah -3, dia bukan jadi +3 dia jadi darab -3. Okay, bukan jadi plus dia jadi minus. Because this one is divide become times. So 3 and 3 can cut, you left with -7, and here h minus 5. So now you pindah the -5 jadi +5. -7 plus 5, -2, right? So this is the answer. Okay. All right, let's read question number 2. Diagram 2 shows a food company logo draft of a circle ABC at center at O. Okay, let's observe the logo. ABC is a full circle, okay? So this is a logo, and then there is a center O. So I can see O to A is definitely, OA and OB is definitely the radius, right? And then there's like a triangle inside the circle also, okay? Okay, so far nothing, no important information here, nothing to label. Let's keep reading. Given that the radius of sector is 6. Oh, I think I need to write this. So if the radius is 6 means OB is 6, OA is 6. If I tarik O to C also will be 6. Okay, but I will not do that. Okay. And then it says triangle ABC is an equilateral triangle. It means this is equilateral, 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 this triangle. And what does it mean by equilateral? Means all three sides sama panjang. And if all three sides sama panjang, all these three angle will be same also. Okay, and what is the total angle inside the triangle? It will be 180, right? So you can straight away divide 3 and you will get 60. Here also you get 60, here also you get 60, right? But I will not write down here because ada satu line, there's a line blocking, right? So I'm just gonna write it here lah. And then say soalan A says that show that the area of sector OABL is expressed as this one. Okay, first of all, I know I can find my theta straight away. My theta will be 60 times 2, which is 120. Okay, because when you have a shape like this, right, and there's two radius and two chord and they join like this, the angle at center, will be 2x, and the angle at the circumference will be x, right? They will have this relation. Okay, if you have two radius and two chord lah. Okay, the angle at center is always 2x. So this angle is actually 120. But looking at what the question A wants, They want you to show that the area of this one, you know. So I don't think you have to substitute the 6 in the radius or everything, because they want you to show this one. Okay, and this is the formula for area of sector. Okay, area of sector formula is 1 over 2 r square theta, or in Bahasa Melayu is j square theta lah. So how do we show that? Okay, it's very easy. Okay, it's only 2 marks only, right? Okay, this one you have to use the something you learn in mathematics, all right? And you learn this in form 2, form 3, you learn it, okay? So you learn something called the circumference and area of circle during lower form, right? I'm not sure you remember or not. It's circumference and area. And how you find circumference? 2 pi r. How you find area? Pi r square, right? But then when you masuk form 5, suddenly the circumference you use S equals R theta formula, area you use 1 over 2 R square theta, right? The formula become different already. And the unit for the theta also changed already. You use radian, right? But when you learn this in lower form, you didn't learn about radian, right? Okay, tak apa, I cakap pasal the 2 pi r square formula first. So circumference, what is circumference? Circumference means, okay, this is a circle. Circumference means the lilitan. Lilitan means the panjang outside like this. You can say it's the perimeter lah, the perimeter of circle. So you're finding the panjang from here to here. So that is what we call the circumference, and the formula is 2 pi r, right? But what if I don't want the whole circle? I only want sini sampai sini saja. Okay, if I want sini sampai sini saja, I will call this the arc, right? The line here, we don't call it circumference, we call it arc. And the formula is same. It will be same, 2 pi r. It's just that you have to times with angle over 360, right? And the angle come from the center lah. It means you have to tarik and you did this angle. Okay, you did this angle and the radius to find the arc here. Okay, so this is the two formulas. Now let's talk about area. Okay, if I want the area of whole circle, it means I find the loss for the whole circle. I will use this formula, pi r square. But I don't. What if I don't want the area for whole circle? I only want the area of sector. What is sector? Sector means like this. Yeah, it's like not the whole circle. It's like just a part of the circle, like just sebahagian daripada circle, right? And the sector shape is always look like this. Okay, like two radius, one arc. This shape we call it sector. And if you want to find the area of sector, we will use the same formula, pi r square, but you have to times with angle over 360, and the angle you have to refer the center lah. This it will be this angle, right? So this is the formula that you learn in lower form, like lower form 1, form 2, form 3, you learn this, right? But then why in the form 5 formula you use the formula you learn is different, right? The formula you learn is S equals R theta, and then the area is 1 over 2 R squared theta, right? So this formula is very different from what you learn in form 2, form 3, because you learn about radian. And that's why whenever you use this formula, the theta has to be in radian. But I want you to know that this formula, these two formula actually is derived from these two. Yeah, actually these two formula actually come from these two formula, right? So this question, they are asking us to prove the area of sector formula, right? So what I will do is I will use this formula to prove. I will use the area of sector formula to prove the formula. So I will just write the area of sector, but they want me to use L, right, to represent the area. So I'm just gonna use L, and then I will just write pi r square times theta over 360. But the R they use J, I remember, yeah. So let's just follow them. Okay, actually, J is the jari lah, is radius, is the same thing. But let's follow them lah. Pi J square and then times with theta, okay, over 360. And your theta has to be in degree. Yeah, okay. But how do we prove this formula? Well, this formula, you use it when the theta is in radian. This formula, you use it when the theta is in degree. So how do we change theta? How do we change degree to radian? Okay, the pi j square, I will write it the same. And then the theta also, I write it the same. But the 360, I will change to radian. Yeah, I will change to radian. And 360 in radian is 2 pi. Right? Yeah, because if I want to prove this formula, because this formula, we can only masuk angle in radian, right? So what I will do is I'll change the 360 to radian lah. Okay, and then afterwards I can cut the 2 pi here, right? So when I cut the pi, it will left with j square multiply with theta over 2, because the pi cut already. And we can rewrite this a little bit different. It will be 1 over 2 times j square theta, right? Because the 2 duduk bawah, right? So theta over 2 is the same as 1 over 2 theta. Yeah, right? That is why the theta over 2, I'll write it like this, 1 over 2 theta, but just that I arrange it a little bit. The 1 over 2 I write in front, followed by j squared theta. And then siap already lah. This is the formula shown. Okay. So this formula is the formula we learn in form 5. Okay, and what is the difference between this formula and this formula? Okay, the formula yang bawah, yang form 5 punya, you use the theta has to be in radian. But the formula yang atas, this one, the theta has to be in degree. Yeah, that's the difference. Okay, so it's only worth 2 marks. So yeah, this is how I would do it lah. Okay, all right, hope you understand. Now let's do B. So B, they want us to do what? Hence, express the area of yellow region in terms of pi and square root 3. So, got square root 3 means later I have maybe... Okay, tak apa, kita buat dulu area of yellow region. So, let's look at the yellow region. Where's the yellow region? So, it's talking about this yellow region, and this yellow region. Okay, sebenarnya this shape, we call it segment. Yeah, this is a segment, right? This is a segment. Okay, what is segment? Segment is, okay, first of all, what is sector? Sector is a shape that consists of 3 lines, right? Radius, arc. This is what we call a sector, okay? But what if I tarik satu line from here to here? Then this line, we call it the chord. Chord. In Bahasa Melayu, we call it perentas, right? And if you look at the arc and the chord, in between them, there is a tiny space, right? There is a space in between. And this space in between, we call it segment, right? So if you look at this is a segment, right? And segment consists of 2 lines. Segment can only consist of 2 lines, arc and chord, right? So yeah, that's why I say this is segment, right? And also I want you to know that this segment and segment number 1 and segment number 2 and segment number 3, they are all same size. Yeah, they are all the same size. So what you can do is you can find area of one segment and then times 3 if you want to do it fast lah, because all these 3 segment is same size. Okay, because of this equilateral triangle, when you put it in, like, it will just, yeah. Okay, that's why what I will do now is I will find one area of segment and then times 3 lah. Okay, so let's see how many marks. 3 marks. Okay, there is a formula for area of segment. Okay, I don't know you remember this formula or not. The formula for area of segment is 1/2 r square bracket theta minus sine theta. This theta has to be in radian. This theta has to be in degree, right? This is the formula that I will use later. Okay, but actually this formula come from where? This formula actually come from 1/2 r square theta minus 1/2 r square sine theta, right? This formula actually come from here, because when you are finding segment, you are taking area of sector. That is why it's 1/2 r square theta minus the area of triangle. And the area of triangle, we can use 1/2 AB sine C. Okay, but in this case, the A and B will both be radius. That's why it's 1/2 r square. And then sine C will just be the sine included angle. That's why it like this, right? It's just that I use I factorize out the 1/2 r square. That's why it end up like this, right? So now, enough talking. Let's start to solve this question. So I'm gonna use the area of segment formula. So I will just write here, area of yellow region, right? They call it. So yellow region. So what you will do now is straight away write 3 times. Okay, because there's like 3 segment, right? And then I will just find area for one segment, which is 1/2 r square. So what is the r? Radius 6. And then theta minus sine theta. Okay, the theta here I already know is 120, but I have to convert to radian, right? So how do we convert? 120 times pi divide 180. Okay, they said in terms of pi, right? So don't press the pi, just press 120 divide 180. So I'm gonna press now. Let's see what I get. Wait. Okay, I already pressed. My calculator give me 2/3. So yeah lah. So it means this is 2/3 pi radian. And the 2/3 pi you have to write here, right? And then minus sine theta, which is minus sine 120. It means the angle you put here and the angle you put here will be the same angle. It will be the same angle. It's just that they are different unit. Yeah, they are the same angle, just different unit. Okay? Macam tu lah. Alright. And then siap already lah. Now we just simplify this whole thing, then we can get the answer, right? Okay, but the question says in terms of cert 3, so I'm not sure where the cert 3 will come out, but it's okay. Let's do it first. 3 times with, okay, what is 6 square divided to 18, right? Because 6 square is 36 divided to 18, and then multiply with 2/3 pi minus sine 120. And then now it becomes 3 times, okay, this 18 I will have to expand inside, so you will end up getting 18 times 2/3, 12 pi. Okay, but the pi don't press, they already say in terms of pi, so the pi we want to leave it there. Minus, what is 18 times sine 120? Okay, Sine 120 is actually how much? Sine 120 is actually sine, because this is quadrant 2, right? So how to change to quadrant 1? 180 minus, right? And since it's second quadrant, add sugar to coffee, second quadrant only sign positive. So that's why here I will write it will be positive. So it's the same as sine 60 lah. So sine 120 and sine 60 is the same thing. And what is sine 60? 60 is a special angle, right? Sine 60 is sine 3 over 2. Yeah. Okay, and sine 60 dengan cos 30 will give you the same answer. Okay, both these will give you the same answer. Okay. So do you remember in Trigo we learned about the table? I asked you to hafal. Okay, wait, is there any space for me? So let's talk about the Trigo belajar punya table. So I got asked you all to hafal for my own student. 30, 45, 60. This one is sine. This one is cos. And then this one is tangent, right? And how I teach my student to hafal, this and this will be same. This and this will be same. This and this will be same, right? So what I have to write in all these places, this is 1 over 2, 1 over 2. This one is cert 3 over 2, cert 3 over 2. So 1 over cert 2, 1 over cert 2. This one is 1 over cert 3, 1 cert 3. Yeah. So the reason why I know sine 60 is cert 3 over 2 is because I already memorized this table. Okay. So yeah, that's why sine 60 is cert 3 over 2. But actually, if you have the white color punya calculator, if you have the putih punya calculator, you can just press sine 120 and they will straight away give you cert 3 over 2. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me try. Let me try. So yeah, my calculator really give me the cert 3 over 2, but you have to use the white color calculator lah. Yeah. All right. But I still recommend student to hafal, even though if you have even if you have the calculator also, I still recommend you to memorize it. Okay. So that you can take it out whenever you want. All right. So now 18 have to times with this, so you end up with square root 3 or cert 3, and then 18 and 2 can cut, right? So what is 18 divided to 9? So you're just left with 9 cert 3 here. So now I understand already lah why they say in terms of pi and cert 3, right? Because there's cert 3. Okay, for the final step is take the 3, expand lah, times inside. So 3 times 12 is 36. So 36 pi, 3 times negative 9, negative 27 cert 3. Okay, this is the answer lah. And don't forget to write cm square because it's area, right? Yeah, everything is in cm. So yep, that's the answer. So that's yep. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's do number 3. Diagram 3 shows the graph of y equals 2x squared plus 2x plus 2. Okay, we can see it. That this is the curve equation. So this is the curve equation. And then we can see that there's another line, which is the OB line. But we can see that this curve and this line, they never intersect each other. They never touch each other, right? Okay, let's see what they say down here. Based on diagram 3, find the range of values of gradient m of straight line OB. Okay, if you look at this curve and this line, they never touch. And when they never touch means you have to do b squared minus 4ac smaller than 0 because they never touch, right? But you cannot straight away take the curve equation and do it. Cannot. You have to find out the equation of straight line and then do simultaneous equation first. Then only you do this one, right? So that's how you do it. So remember, in exam, if you see the question give you a curve and a straight line, okay, and you are doing Addmaths paper, when they give you curve and straight line equation, just straight away do simultaneous. You don't care what they say, right? Just do simultaneous. After do simultaneous, then only you read the question and see whether they touch 2 point, touch 1 point, or does not touch. If they say touch 2 point, then only you do b squared minus 4ac bigger 0. If they say touch 1 point ataupun tangent, then you do b squared minus 4ac equals 0. But if they does not touch, then b squared minus 4ac smaller than 0, right? But what's important here is before you do the b squared minus 4ac, you always have to do simultaneous first. So the OB equation, they never say, they never give us the straight line equation, but we all know the gradient we don't know, right? Yeah, because they want to find range of m, so the gradient we don't know. So it will be y equals mx plus c, right? But the c we know, yeah, because the y-intercept is 0, right? So it will be plus 0 lah, okay? But actually plus 0 tak ada orang tulis. So this is the equation for the straight line, right? So what I will do now is I will do simultaneous. Okay, it means I will combine these two equations into one, then only I will do the b squared minus 4ac. So how can I convert? Okay, I can call this equation 1, I can call this equation 2, and then I'll just write y equals to y. Okay, means I'm using the substitution method. So the first y I will write 2x squared plus 2x plus 2, and then the other y is mx, right? And then now I will just susun jadi general form 2x squared plus 2x minus mx, but I straight away take out the x like this, right? And then plus 2 equals 0. And now it's already general form. Now I can do b squared minus 4ac smaller than 0. Kenapa smaller than 0? Because this curve and this line does not touch, right? So it'll be 2 minus m squared. And what's the a? 2, what's the c? 2 smaller than 0. Okay, expand this. Okay, if you want to expand it the fast way, I will take depan square, which is 2 square, 4, and then depan darab belakang darab 2. So 2 times negative m is negative 2m, times 2 is negative 4m, and then the final step is belakang square. Negative m square is just going to be positive m square, right? And then negative 4 times 2 is negative 16, right? Okay, sampai sini you see that ada square, right? It means this is a quadratic, but it's not a quadratic equation. It's a quadratic inequalities because of this smaller symbol. So if it's a quadratic inequality, means later you have to draw, you have to sketch, and then you have to lorate, kan? Okay, but before that, you try to get the two answer for m first, right? And in order to get the two answer, I have to susun jadi general form and then tekan calculator tu, right? So the m square I will write paling depan, and then followed by negative 4m, and then followed by 4 minus 16, which is negative 12 smaller than 0. And then now I will get the two answer for m first, right? And then later have to shade lah, have to shade. Okay, so let's press calculator. What's the A? 1. What's the B? Negative 4. What's the C? Negative 12. Okay, my calculator give me 6 and negative 2. Alright, so the first answer M is 6, here is negative 2. Then what I have to write here? Atas sini. I have to write bracket, bracket. And since this one is smaller 0, so sini pun saya ikut smaller 0. And if it's M positive 6, I have to write M minus 6. If M minus 2, I have to write M plus 2. Okay, because the plus 2, if M plus 2 equals 0, then only the 2 can pindah sana jadi negative 2. That is why you have to tukar tanda lah. And a lot of students, they will do like this. The equal, they will write like this, smaller, smaller. Salah, tak boleh. Tak boleh buat macam ni, salah. Alright. So what you have to do is you have to write equal here, and then you lower it. Yeah, and then you shade. And then you put the small number in front, negative 2, and then the big number at the back here. And then you check whether dia kata bracket, bracket, smaller 0 or bigger 0. Kalau smaller 0, you will lower it sini. Right? At the dekat bawah sini, middle. But if it's bigger, then you lower it this part and this part. Kalau bigger lah, okay? But if it's smaller, you lower it here, right? And after you lower it here, after you shade here, then you can write down the answer already. So the range of values of m is m, and you can see the shaded region is in between. So in between negative 2 and 6. So the small number right in front, the big number right belakang. Okay, so that's it. But if it's bigger, then you have to write m smaller negative 2 or m bigger 6. That one is kalau bigger sini lah, right? Okay, but for this question, 3 marks. So yeah, this is how you do it. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, B, let's read the question. The function tx equals to negative 5x squared plus 30x as shown in diagram 4 represents the height in meters of of firework x seconds after it was launched. So let's write down the equation. Tx equals to negative 5x squared plus 30x. So what the t represents? The t represents height, they say, right? Yeah, so this one is represents tinggi, height in meters, right? Height in meters. And then x is just the second. So I think this one is just the time lah. So this x and this x, they are both time. Okay, second. So if I want to know the height of rocket after 5 seconds, then what I do is that I just ganti x5 macam tu saja. And then I will get, after I substitute 5 and then I tekan the whole thing, I will get the height of the rocket. Okay. Okay, but let's see what they want. The fireworks exploded at the highest point. So this it's not rocket, it's fireworks, sorry. So the firework will go until the highest point and then boom, explode. So this point is the highest point. So we call this the maximum, not minimum, maximum, because the A is negative. Can you see the A is negative? And if the A is negative, means the shape of the curve will be like this. Yeah. And it makes sense, right? Because when you play with firework, the firework will shoot up. Mana ada firework yang macam ni punya? Tak ada kan? Mesti the firework will shoot up until the maximum point and then boom, explode, right? And the maximum point, we can actually find it actually because we have the equation, right? But let's see what they want first. Let's see what they want first. By using completing the square method, determine number 1, when did the firework explode? Okay, if you want to know when the firework explode, you need to know the x coordinate of the turning point. Because the x coordinate is the time. And they are asking when the firework explode, right? When it explode, it will explode at the maximum point. because they already said it will explode at the highest point. So I need to find the highest point first, which is the maximum point, and then take the x coordinate. The x coordinate would be the answer, not the y coordinate, because the y coordinate is the height. They are not asking height, they're asking when, means the below. So if they ask below means they're asking for the time. So the x coordinate of the turning point will be your answer. But how to get the turning point? Okay, they already said by using completing the square method. Hey, why? Why they have to cakap macam tu by using completing square method? Because there's actually a few method that you can use. Not only satu cara untuk cari maximum point, ada beberapa cara. The first cara is use the completing the square method and change to vertex form. Vertex form means it will look like this: ax plus p square plus q, like this. This is what we call the vertex form. So this is the first method to find the turning point. Second method to find turning point is to find the x-intercept. Okay, after you find the x-intercept, you take the both x-intercept plus together and then divide 2 to get the x coordinate of the turning point. And then take the x coordinate, sub inside the y equation to find the y coordinate. Right? This is the second method. And third method is to use this formula, negative b over 2a. Right? If you use this formula, you will straight away get the x coordinate of the turning point. Right? And then how to get the y coordinate? You just sub back into the equation to get y coordinate, right? But we cannot use this method, even though like some of this method is like faster, right? But we cannot use this method. You know why? Because the soalan already specific cakap kena guna completing the square method. That is why when I revise this chapter with my own students, I do so many completing the square with them, because I know the exam likes to ask completing the square, right? So let's do completing the square. So let's write down the equation first. So I will do it here lah. I'll just do it here. So what I have to do is we have to make sure our A is positive 1. Okay, before we do completing the square, we must always make sure the A must be positive 1. If the A is not positive 1, you tak boleh buat complete the square. So what you have to do is you have to divide negative 5. Means you have to factorize negative 5. Means you have to take out negative 5. So what happens when you divide negative 5? You're left with x squared here. And then 30 divided negative 5 will just be negative 6x. Right? And then the negative 5 you still have to write outside like this. And then now what happens is you will write negative 5 and then you will use a big bracket. You use a big bracket. And then now you will start doing completing the square. And now you write x squared minus 6x plus bracket square minus bracket square. Right? And what's inside this small bracket? B over 2. Okay, B over 2. So B is negative 6, so negative 6 over 2, negative 6 over 2. Okay, for those who's wondering, like, hey, sir, what you're doing? I'm just doing completing the square. This is the method. Yeah, this is the steps. I'm just doing all the steps for completing the square, right? And in completing the square, memang kita kena buat macam tu. Okay, now the next step is negative 5. The big bracket have to write. This big bracket is very important. Very important. And now I will cover this thing. Okay, yang ni jangan tengok. We will just focus on depan sini and sini, right? So if we focus on these two, focus on this and this, we will see that they both have square. So what I'll write is I'll write bracket, and then the x tulis dalam, the square I tulis outside the bracket. And then same here, negative 6 divided 2, I write inside, but I know negative 6 divided 2 is negative 3, so I write inside, and then the square I write outside, right? And then sini minus, so saya pun minus. Negative 6 divided 2 is negative 3, right? But this one you have to square. So negative 3 square is positive 9, so you write 9, right? But you have to write minus lah, because there's another negative outside here. Okay, this looks like a vertex form, right? But it's not vertex form yet, because vertex form cannot have the big bracket one. That is why I say the big bracket very, very important. You still have to take the negative 5 and you have to open the bracket, means you have to expand. So when you expand, you will get negative 5 bracket x minus 3 square. Okay, this negative 5, when you expand, the negative 5 cannot go inside the bracket, because this bracket got square. So this negative 5 cannot masuk dalam. So if you want to expand, you have to write outside like this, right? Then what about the negative 9? Okay, the negative 9 will times with negative 5 become positive 45. And this is the answer. Okay, not the final answer, but this is the vertex form, right? So I sudah berjaya tukar general form to vertex form, right? And now what the question asks you to find: when did the firework explode? And I already tell you, right? You need the maximum point. So now let's write down the maximum point. So I'm gonna write down maximum point. So how we baca the maximum point? We will look at this value. We will look at this value and this value only. The negative 5 only tell us the shape, whether it's like like a U shape or N shape. Okay, so if it's negative, it's like an N shape lah. But this negative 5 will not tell us the coordinate, right? Only these two will tell you the coordinate. So the x coordinate will be 3, because when the negative 3, when you take it out, it will become 3. Okay, you have to tukar tanda. Yeah. So whatever inside here, when you take out, that will be the x coordinate, but you have to tukar tanda. Tukar tanda means positive jadi negative, negative jadi positive, right? And then 45, the one straight away ambil, that one is the y coordinate, right? So there you go. This is the maximum point. But the soalan never asks you to find maximum point. The soalan asks you to find when did the firework explode. So when? 3 seconds, right? I already explained just now, you have to take the x coordinate, okay? Because the x coordinate, that's the time. X coordinate is the time, not the y coordinate. This 45 is not the time. This 45 is the height in meters, okay? And this question, they're asking when did the firework explode. So when? When is the highest point lah? And when is it the highest point? After 3 seconds. 3 seconds, yeah. The x coordinate, okay? The x coordinate is time, okay? Okay, now for question number 2, what was the height at which the firework explode? So when will the explode? It will at the maximum point, right? But this time they're asking the height. So this time you will take the y coordinate, which is 45. But I recommend you write the unit also is meter, right? So yeah. So this is how I would do it. Okay. So 3 seconds, 45 meters. Okay. So I think my question 1 working, I write here, right? And then this is the answer for question 1. And then for question 2 is this one. Okay. So hope you can understand my working lah. Okay. All right, let's keep going. This is number 4. I think this is from 4 chapter 3. It's called system of equation, right? Okay, let's read the question. Explain the difference between infinite solution and no solution for a system of linear equation with 3 variables. Okay, how do we know whether the soalan yang ada linear equation yang ada 3 variable, whether it has infinite solution or no solution? Okay, okay, I'll write here, right? So for 3 variable punya equation, linear equation with 3 variables, right? It means the other x, y, z macam tu. So when you solve this, there's 3 type of solution that might come out. The first type is where you will get one solution only, one solution, right? Another one is like you might get infinite solution, okay? Infinite solution. And then this one is no solution, right? And of course, most of the question yang the soalan yang akan bagi is for one solution lah. One solution means what? It means you will get x satu jawapan, y satu jawapan, z satu jawapan. That's what it means. Infinite solution means you did everything correctly, but you end up with this 0 equals 0. Yeah. When you end up with this, then it's infinite solution, right? And later I'll explain to you what's the meaning, like why, okay, why you get 0 equals 0 and what's the meaning behind it. Later I'll explain it, don't worry, okay? Now you just have to remember infinite solution is 0 equals 0. And then for no solution, you will get 0 equals number. So I'm just going to write k, but the k can be any number. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, like any number, okay? So I repeat one more time. If one solution means you get one answer for x, y, z each, infinite solution means you just end up with 0 equals 0. Right? You do everything correctly, you just end up with this. Then it's infinite solution. And no solution is when you end up with 0 equals number. And the number can be anything like 0 equals 1, 0 equals 2, whatever. Okay. Then it means this question has no solution lah. Right? Okay, now I want to explain to you what's the meaning. Okay, like what's the meaning? What's the meaning of having one solution, infinite solution, no solution? Okay, the meaning of having one solution means all 3 planes. Okay, I don't want to draw it because it's very hard to draw it actually. I'm just gonna write it down. So one solution is when all 3 planes, all 3 planes, all 3 planes intersect at only one point. All 3 planes intersect at only one point. Why I call it plane? Because it's 3 variable. If it's 2 variable, I will call it line. Because if it's 2 variable, then it's like a line. But if it's 3 variable, it will not be a line. It will be like a 2D plane. Yeah, like a 2D plane. So that's why I call it plane. So if one solution means all the 3 planes intersect at only one point, right? Then what about infinite solution? Infinite solution means it means the planes, the planes the planes intersect. They got intersect, but they intersect along a straight line. Along a straight line. What does it mean by intersect along a straight line? It means this 3 plane, the intersection is not a point. It's like a straight line. And if it's a straight line means you will get infinity solution because it will just have a lot of answer because the line will keep going until infinity. That is why it's called infinite solution. Okay, and we will see 0 equal 0 in our working if it's infinite solution. Okay, okay, for no solution means what? It means, okay, very easy, right? If one solution, one intersection point. Infinite solution, infinite intersection point. So if no solution means what? Means no intersection point lah. So I'm just gonna write here the planes, the planes, the planes do not intersect at all. They do not intersect at all, or you can say do not intersect at any point. Okay, that's why it's no solution, right? And in our working, we will see this 0 equals number. That's how we know that this question has no solution, right? So this is my notes. Okay, of course you don't have to write all this during exam lah. This one is just my notes for you. So now let's jawab the question. So soalan A, explain the difference between infinite solution and no solution for a system of linear equation with three variables. So they want me to explain the difference. Well, actually, you can just write the definition for infinite solution and no solution. Just write the definition. Then then it means you already explained the difference already, right? So I'm just gonna write infinite solution. So what is the meaning of infinite solution? So infinite solution means the plane, the plane, what? In the planes intersect along a straight line, right? Whereas, okay, whereas means manakala, whereas no solution, no solution means the planes do not intersect at how I write it just now? Do not intersect at any point. Yeah. So you can write like this lah, at any point. Yeah. And then siap already lah. Yeah, 1 mark only, right? So yeah, good enough. Okay. So infinite solution means the planes intersect at along a straight line. No solution means do not intersect at any point. That's the difference lah. They want us to explain the difference. So I just give them the definition for both, and then and then you can explain the difference like this. Okay, so let's read again. Infinite solution means the planes intersect along a straight line, whereas no solution means the plane do not intersect at any point. So yeah, you will get, I think you will get, is good enough. Yeah, if you write like this. Okay, so now we will do B. B says what? Solve the following system of linear equations. So there's three equation here. This is equation 1, equation 2, equation 3, and they all have three variable, right? X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Oh, if I look at equation 2 only have two variable. So if the equation 2 only have two variable, it means I will try to, how to say, saya takkan kacau equation 2 because equation 2 is a special equation because this equation dia ada dua variable saja. So what I'm gonna do now is I will instead take equation 1 and equation 3 and I will try to hapuskan 1 and 3 so that the equation also have two variable and I have to make sure it's y and z also. So what I will do now is I will take equation 1 and equation 3 and try to hapuskan x. The reason why is because I want to hapus nanti dengan equation 2 later, right? If I take equation 1 and equation 3 and I hapuskan y, what happens later is I will end up with x and z, and then the xz punya equation tak boleh buat dengan yz. So you understand, right? That is why what I want to do now is I need to make sure I have another equation yang ada yz so that I can hapus with 2 later. So I will take equation 1 and equation 3, and if I want the equation to have yz, I have to hapuskan x. So the only way to do that is to take equation 1 times 2. Because if you want to hapuskan x, the number in front have to be same. So equation 1 times 2 will be 2x plus 2y plus 2z equals 4, right? It means the whole thing times 2 lah, eh? And I'll call this equation 4, but equation 4 actually come from 1, right? So 4 actually come from 1. So now I can hapus dengan 3 lah. So what is equation 4? 2x plus 2y plus 2z equals 4. And what is equation 3? 2x plus y plus 5z equals 0. And as you can see, the x and x, you can hapuskan. Okay, means I'm using the elimination method. Okay, penghapusan punya cara. So I would minus. Okay, because I want to hapuskan. Jadi kosong. If you want to use substitution method, can also. Can also, up to you. Okay, what is 2y minus y? It will be 1y. And then 2z minus 5z. 2 minus 5 is negative 3z. And then 4 minus 0 is just going to be 4, right? And I'll call this equation 5. And this is a special equation because this is the equation that has two variables, y and z. And do you remember just now equation 2 also have two variables, y and z? So now I can take equation 2 and equation 5, hapus sekali lagi. And I will use elimination also because I nampak y dengan y sudah sama. And also it's already susun nicely. So I will use elimination method again, right? Or you want to use substitution also can, up to you. Equation 5 is what? Y minus 3z equals 4. And then equation 2 is just y minus 3z equals 1. And since I'm trying to hapuskan y, I will minus, right? So y minus y will be 0. Negative 3 minus minus 3. Negative 3 minus minus 3 means negative 3 plus 3. Negative 3 plus 3, you will get 0. So left side, you will get 0. What about the right side? It's 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay, you do everything correctly, but you end up with something weird like this, like 0 equals 3. What does it mean? Do you remember my notes? If you end up with 0 equals number, what does it mean? It means no solution. It means this plane, all the planes do not intersect at any point, right? But if you get 0 equals 0 also tak ada jawapan, but 0 equals 0 means infinite solution. And there is a difference between these two. Infinite solution means intersect along a straight line. No solution means does not intersect at all. So there's a difference, okay? So for this, I'll write no solution, okay? So after I write here, I'll just write no solution. So they say solve the following, right? So I will just do until here. I'll just write dot dot dot. Since 0 is not equals to 3. Yeah, because how can 0 equal to 3, right? So 0 is not equal to 3. Therefore, this system of linear, okay, let me write nicely. This system of linear equations have no solution. Okay, but if it's 0 equals 0, then I will write infinite solution. Okay, so systems of linear equations, this has no solution. I think I should write has. Yeah. Okay, but this one is small issue lah. It's not English. It's not English exam, right? So the grammar is not that important because I'm saying system, and system is like a singular, right? Singular, I think I have to write has. Okay, so this system of linear equations has no solution. Yeah, but if you write have also can lah. Yeah, this one is like it's not English exam, right? It's Addmaths, so they don't look at the grammar one. All right, so I think is this good enough? So I hope you understand lah. Okay, let's continue with number 5A. I think this is the indices log chapter punya soalan. Let's read. Solve the equation for this. Okay, if you look at this, if you want to solve, we will always try to make sure it's same base, right? When we are doing this kind of question, indices or log, always check the base, okay? And try to make them to the same base. How can we make all this to same base? Okay, you just change all to the smallest base. Yeah, you just change every how to say, every base here, you change it to the smallest base. So 16 can change to what base? Can change to base 4, right? But it's not the smallest. I want the smallest. So the smallest 16 can change to is base 2. Yeah. So the smallest base for base 16 is base 2. So 2 power 4 is 16. But that, don't forget, got power 2x here. So I have to put bracket and then write like this. Okay. And then if there's nothing in between means times. Okay, what is 64? Change to the smallest base. Okay, some of you might tell me 8 power 2 because, yeah, base 8. 64 can change to base 8. But I want the smallest. So it's actually 2 power 6. And then 4 is just into 2 power 2. But there's a power x, so I have to write bracket like this. Okay. And when we have power side by side like this, you have to times, not plus, times. So it'll be 8x here. And then times 2 power 6 equals to 2 power. Okay, 2 times x is 2x. Okay, after you reach here, everything same base. Now, since middle is times, now you can merge these two. How you merge it? Using this formula. A power m times a power n equals a power m plus n. It means when you have two number with same base, and then when you times them, dual numbers are same base times the power with plus. So it'll be 2 power 8x plus 6 here. And then on the right side, you just leave it 2 power 2x. And since they are both they are same base on both sides, it means we can compare. So the 2 and the 2 same already, we can compare. So the base and base same. It means that the power and the power should be the same as well. So 8x plus 6 must equals to 2x. Plus 2 move here become minus. 8 minus 2 is 6x. 6 pindah sana jadi negative 6. So x will be negative 1 lah. Because negative 6 divided 6 is negative 1. Okay, sudah siap. Itu jawapan dia. Okay, let's continue with B question. So B is a log question, but we don't care. We don't care whether it's indices or log. We always have to follow this rule. Same base. Same base. If it's not same base, you cannot continue. Tak ada benda you boleh buat kalau bukan same base, right? It means you have to change to same base lah kalau bukan same base. So let's read. Given that log 3p plus log 9k equals 3, form an equation in terms of p and k. So they never ask you to write p in terms of k or k in terms of p. They just said form an equation in terms of pk. So I just have to make sure my final answer only have pk. Macam tu saja. They never said like p has to like be single ataupun make p the subject or make k the subjects. Like no need to do that. They just said form an equation in terms of pk. So let's do it. Okay, the soalan is log p base 3 plus log k base 9 equals to 3. But this one I will straight away change base. You know why? Because the log base is not same now. Satu base 3, satu base 9. And 3 and 9, both these numbers can change to base what? They both can change to base 3, right? So the best thing here to do is change everything to base 3. But since this one is already base 3, so I will only change this. So do you remember the changing base punya formula? If I have log, let's say log A base B, and I want to change to log base C, what you do is you will put log A, you write atas, and then for the log base, which is the log B, you will write bawah. And for the base, you can put any base you want, any base that you want to change. Like for example, you want base C, then you put base C lah. Okay, this question I will what using this formula. So first I'll write log K atas. It means the log punya number saya tulis atas, and then the log punya base saya letak bawah, which is 9. And then for the log base, you can put any base you want. But make sure they are the same lah. Atas bawah has the same. You can write 7 or 8, like doesn't matter. But if you write 8 here, bawah also have to write 8. But of course you will write 3 lah because you want base 3 now ma. Okay, so that's why. Okay, all right. After you reach here, you can potong the log 9 base 3 become 2. Okay, because log 9 base 3 is the same as log 3, and then the 9 can change to 3 power 2. And kenapa saya buat macam tu? Because the 2 can letak depan, and then log 3 can cut become 1. That is why log 9 base 3 is 2. Okay, and now what I do is I'll take the whole thing times 2, get rid of the fraction, hilangkan fraction. So times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, when you take log 3p times 2, some student might write like this, log 3 2p. Ini salah ah. Ini memang salah. You buat macam tu, confirm salah. When you times 2, you cannot take the 2 cannot terus darab masuk macam tu, tak boleh. Because this one dia sudah ada log. So bila dia sudah ada log, when you want to darab, you cannot darab inside. You have to tulis depan macam ni. If you want to times 2. Okay? Yeah, this is the correct way to write it. Not you cannot write 2p like that, cannot. Okay? And then plus, okay, what happens if this one times 2? The 2 and 2 cut already lah. So left with log 3k. And then the last one is 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay, sampai sini you boleh simplify lagi. I can see that they are both same base, right? And if if we have two log same base, and then tengah-tengah plus, we can actually combine. We can actually merge, become single log, right? But when you merge, it becomes single log times, because plus jadi times. But before we merge, we have to make sure depan log tak boleh ada number. So depan log tak ada number sini kan? So depan log sini pun tak boleh ada number. So the two actually I have to naik atas jadi power, right? Because I told you already just now, if ada power boleh letak depan, means kalau depan ada number boleh naik atas jadi power, right? So like this lah. And then plus log 3k equals 6. Now you can merge. So separate log plus, when you merge, becomes single log times. What times what? It will be p squared times with k, right? Okay, you don't have to write anything in between. Okay, but you know it's times lah, and then equals to 6. Okay, now you can perform anti-log. What is anti-log? Anti-log means when you have log something, base something equals to something, you can tendang the base to the other side, right? You do anti-log. So when you do anti-log, the log base will become the number base, and then this thing will become the power, right? This thing. Okay, tak apa, let's demonstrate how to do. So log something base something equals something. So what you do anti-log. Anti-log means you tendang the base. So when you kick the base to the other side, the log base will become the number base. It means the 3 become like the number base already. And then the 6 will become the power, right? And what is 3 power 6? 729, right? So that's the answer. Yeah, that's the answer. Because they say form an equation in terms of P and K, right? So yeah, that's the answer. Okay, you don't have to pindah until P single or K single. Kalau nak buat macam tu boleh juga lah, but I think you're just wasting your time because the question never asked me to do that, so I will not do that. Because they just said form equation in terms of P and K. They never said express P in terms of K or K in terms of P. They never said like make P the subject or make K the subject. So I'm just gonna stop here. Yeah. right? But actually, if you want to pindah the k to the other side, can also lah, up to you lah. Right. Okay, let's continue. Number 6. I think this is differentiation. So let's go. Diagram 5 shows part of the curve. Y equals to this one. If I am you, I'll straight away expand this because I know I'm doing differentiation. And when you're doing differentiation, it's always better to expand first, right? So I'm just gonna expand straight away. I don't even care what the question asks later. I'll just straight away expand, become negative x power 4, and then negative times negative is positive 3x power 3 plus 4. So this is the equation of the curve. Okay, Soalan A says find the coordinates of two stationary points P and Q. Stationary point means turning point. Okay, stationary point means turning point. It means this two is the turning point. Okay, how do we find the turning point for P and for how to find P and Q? So they are both turning point, right? So for turning point, you will just do this one, dy dx equals 0. Okay, I hope I don't have to explain why lah, because this one like everyone should know. Yeah, if you're taking SPM this year and you're having Addmaths, I hope you know this one. Okay, I will not go into the details lah, but okay, I'll just explain quickly lah. Turning point means your gradient tangent will be 0. And when your gradient tangent 0 means dy dx equals 0. Okay, so okay, I will not go into the details, but what I will do now is do the dy dx equals 0 lah. Okay, so let's go. Dy dx means we will differentiate this equals 0. So when you differentiate, you get negative 4x power 3. Okay, because when you differentiate, you will take the power darab dengan nombor depan. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, and then power minus 1 like this. Okay, let's do one more time. Power darab nombor depan, 3 times 3, 9, and then power minus 1 will be x power 3 minus 1, which is 2. And then differentiate 4 is 0. When you differentiate number, tak ada x. When you differentiate number, tapi dia tak ada x, then the automatic 0. And now we will take this whole thing equals 0. Because when gradient tangent equals 0. Why gradient tangent equals 0? Because turning point. Yeah, turning point means your gradient tangent will be 0. So now you take the whole thing, negative 4x power 3 plus 9x squared equals 0. Okay, a lot of students will do it like this. What they will do is like they will divide x squared like this. And then they will cut like this. Okay, don't do that, please. Because if you do like this, okay, you will not get a complete answer because this is a power 3 punya tau. So imagine if you cut, like for example, okay, let's say you do it like this. You pindah the negative 4 become like this, x power 3, and then you bahagi x square. What happens is you only left with 1x if you bahagi x square both sides. That's why don't do like that because how to say? It's a power 3 equation. So you use the factorization method, don't cut. Because if you cut, you will get answer, but your answer is not complete. Okay, like you, how to say? You, there's actually like for example, there's actually two answer, but you cut already and then left with one answer only. Okay, so don't cut. The correct way here is to factorize. Okay, how to factorize? Uh, x power 3 and x power 2, you can take out x power 2, right? So you will just take out the x square like this, and then you factorize. So negative 4 is still inside. X power 3, I already take out x power 2. Means I divide lah. X power 3 divided. So left with x. And then plus 9. And then the x square, I already take it out. So stop bracket equals 0. And then now I will take the first bracket equals 0, second bracket equals 0. So it will be x square equals 0. And then negative 4x plus 9 equals 0. This is the correct way. Ini cara yang betul untuk dapatkan jawapan bila dia power 3. Right? Because if you divide, then later your x tinggal satu jawapan saja. Then yeah, you can do it. So this is the correct way. So the first answer is square root. Square hantar jadi square root lah, which is 0 lah. And then the other one is negative 9 over negative 4, which is positive 9 over 4. So it means there is two intersection point lah. I'm talking intersection pula. Two turning point. Two turning point or two stationary point, right? Because okay, why we do dy dx equals 0? Because we want to find turning point, right? But we end up with 2x answer. It means got two turning point lah. The first turning point, the x coordinate is 0. The other turning point, the x coordinate is 9 over 4. Yeah, lah, because got two turning point, right? Then what about the y coordinate? How to find y coordinate? We just substitute these two value inside the original equation to find the y coordinate. So I'm just gonna write here, when x equals 0, my y will be 4, right? Because when x equals 0, this whole thing will be 0. When you substitute x 0, right? Means the y will be 4. So your first turning point is 0, 4. But what if when x equals to 9 over 4? Then your y will be, this one you have to sub inside lah, negative bracket 9 over 4 power 4 plus 3, 9 over 4 power 3, and then plus 4. and you have to press all this in your calculator. So I'm gonna press now. Negative bracket. Make sure you open. How to say? Make sure you press the bracket and everything. So 9/4, close bracket, power 4, and then plus 3 bracket 9/4, close bracket, power 3, and then plus 4. Okay, my calculator give me like 3211 over 256. Okay, so yeah, this is the y coordinate. So what is the second turning point? 9/4, comma 3211 over 256, right? But if you read the question, they want you to find the coordinates of stationary point P and Q. So I think I should write dot dot dot. I should write the P coordinate and then Q coordinate like this. Then only they can give me full mark. So which one is P? What do you think? This one or this one? The 0, 4 or the other one? What do you think? Of course, it's the 0, 4, because if you look at the diagram, P duduk dekat sini. So of course this one must be the 0, 4, right? And then Q will be the one yang positive punya lah, which is positive 9/4. And then the y coordinate is 3211 over 256, right? Okay, so 2 marks only. So yeah, this is how you get full marks. Okay, sudah siap. Now let's do B. Okay, B says what? Hence, determine the nature of stationary point P by using the tangent sketching method. Okay, I'm gonna explain to you what is tangent sketching method, and I will explain to you what is the meaning of nature of point. Okay, I need you to know stationary point and turning point is the same thing. It's the same thing, and there is only two types of turning point. Okay, there's only two types of turning point, minimum and maximum. So when they say determine the nature of turning point, it means they are asking you to write down whether this point is a minimum point or maximum point. You understand, right? So I repeat one more time. Stationary point means what? Means turning point. And turning point, there's only two types, minimum or maximum. And if they say determine nature, means they want you to determine minimum or how to say? Determine minimum or maximum, right? So I'm going to explain using this question. How can we know that which point is minimum, which one is maximum? So if you look at these 2 points, right? How do we know which one is minimum, which one is maximum? You will do this second derivative. It's called d2y over dx2, right? If you want to know whether the turning point, the nature, it means we want to know minimum, maximum, we will use the second derivative. What is second derivative? Second derivative is called the d2y over dx2. And what is this? This is like you differentiate. This means you have to differentiate dua kali, right? Differentiate dua kali. And if your second derivative, d2y dx2, is bigger than 0, it means it's minimum. But if it's smaller than 0, it's maximum, right? But this question, they never asked me to determine the nature for P, right? I mean, they asked me to determine nature of P. They never asked me to determine for Q. But I will do it anyway for you. So I'm going to show you now. First thing first is I need to know what's my dy dx. Okay, my dy dx is here. Do you remember? So this one is like differentiate sekali punya jawapan. So what if I want differentiate dua kali punya jawapan? I will differentiate this one more time. So I will get negative 12x squared, because 3 times negative 4, negative 12, power minus 1. And then 2 times 9, which is 18, and then x. So this is the answer for my second derivative. And now what I will do is, I will sub the x coordinate inside here to test whether the point is a minimum or maximum. You understand, right? So it's like you are just testing whether it's a minimum or maximum. So what I will do now is I will test the x with the first x coordinate. Okay, I'm gonna test with the point Q1, right? So what I'm doing is I'll take the 9/4, I'll just sub inside the x like this, right? And then I'll press the whole thing, okay, inside the calculator. So let me press negative 12 bracket 9/4 close bracket square, and then plus 18 bracket 9/4. Okay, my calculator give me negative 81/4, but the value is not important. What's important here is the sign, whether it's positive or negative, right? So it's negative. So negative means what? Smaller than 0, so maximum. It means this whole point is a maximum point. Because when you sub the 9/4 inside, it means you are testing for the whole point. All right, it means Q is the maximum point. But you don't have to do all this actually, because the question never asks you to determine the nature of P. Yeah, the question never asks you to determine nature of Q, right? But Q is maximum lah. Even in the diagram also you can see it. You can see like Q is definitely the maximum, because this is the highest point the curve go, right? It never go higher than this, right? But now what happens if I use P to do? Okay, you will see something happen. Okay, so let's say I will do the second derivative, which is negative 12x squared plus 18x. But this time for my x, I will determine for p, right? So what is the x for p, the x coordinate for p? 0, right? So you will letak 0. Did you realize you get 0? If you press all this, you will get 0, right? So what does it mean by your second derivative equals 0? It means, okay, I say already, if your second derivative bigger than 0, means positive, means it's minimum. Okay, if your second derivative positive. But if your second derivative is smaller 0, means like a negative number, then it's maximum. That is why this one I get negative. I say that this point Q is maximum. But why when I use the point P in why I sub the point P punya x coordinate dalam I get 0. So if I get 0 means minimum or maximum. Well, you can't determine it, right? Because bigger 0 baru saya boleh tahu minimum. Smaller 0 baru saya boleh tahu maximum. But if it's 0, 0 is like tak ada positive, tak ada negative. It's neutral. So we don't know whether it's positive or negative. It means this point, we cannot determine using the second derivative method. We have to use another method called the tangent sketching method, right? So I repeat one more time, because I am scared you don't understand what, okay? So if we want to know whether this point is a minimum or maximum, we will do second derivative, right? And if the second derivative bigger than 0 is minimum lah, smaller than 0 is maximum. But sometimes you will get 0. Yeah, sometimes you will get 0. And when you get 0 means you cannot determine the nature already. So what you have to do is use another method using tangent. That's why this question said using tangent sketching method for point P. Because point P, it will give you 0 for your second derivative. So you have to use another method, right? So I'm going to show you how to use the tangent sketching method. So this method, you have to draw a table. Okay, you have to draw a table. So I'm going to draw the table now. So let me draw the table. So this is how my table will look like. Something like this. Yeah. Okay, let's make it bigger. Okay, like this, I think it's good enough. And then the first row, okay, wait. Okay, like this, and then let's use black color. Okay. Okay, so the first line is like this, and here I will write X. Okay, X. Okay. And then here I'll make sure I have 3 column. So it's like this, and then I need to have 3 space here, like this. Okay. So make sure I have 3 like this. And then for the next one, I will write dy dx. Okay, dy dx. Okay. And the x value just now, which one give you the second derivative 0 just now? When you ganti the p punya x coordinate 0 dalam second derivative, you get 0, right? So the x coordinate is 0. So the 0, that one I will write in middle. Okay, the x value yang membuatkan you tak dapat cari minimum maximum, that one I will write in middle. Okay. And then what about these two? These two, you can write any value, but you will write a value after 0 and before 0. Okay, you can write any value you want. Okay, it's like random run. So I'm going to write 0.1 and negative 0.1. But actually it's random one. You can write 0.2 also. Like you can write any value you want. Yeah, it's like random one. Just make sure one number is positive, one number is like slightly bigger than 0, another number is slightly smaller than 0. Okay. You know why? Do you know why? Do you know why I'm doing this? It's because when we sub 0, we cannot determine the nature. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reverse sikit, and then I'm gonna tolak sikit, and then tambah sikit, and see what happens if I how to say, reverse sikit and tambah sikit. Then I can somehow guess the shape. Okay, the sketching, like how the point looks like. Okay, tak apa, I buat dulu lah. Slowly you will understand later. So the first thing first is do dy dx, right? So what is the dy dx? So we all know dy dx answer is, where is it? Is this one, right? The negative 4x power 3 plus 9x squared. So I will sub the x with 0 lah. But we all know when we sub the x is 0, we will end up with 0, right? So when x is 0, the dy dx will be 0 also. Okay, I think I should write down the dy dx here. So what is it? Negative 4x power 3 plus 9x squared. So when we sub the x 0, the dy dx will be 0. Okay. Then what if the x is negative 0.1? Well, you use your calculator to press. So you just press negative 4 bracket negative 0.1, just sub inside the x, right? And you will get 0.094. Okay. 0.094. But actually, the value is not that important actually. We just want to know positive or negative, right? What's important here is the positive, negative. Okay, let's sub 0.1 inside, and then you press calculator, you get 0.086. And I repeat one more time, the value is not important. What's important here is the sign. Sign means like whether it's positive or negative. So I'm going to open the column here and write the sign. Okay, sign. So here I'll write sign of gradient, gradient tangent, or you can say sign of dy dx lah. Okay, so what is the sign here? It's a positive. This one, zero, no sign. So it's just write 0, and then this one is positive also. Okay, and now you will, for the next row, you will write tangent sketching. Yeah, tangent sketching. That's why it's called the tangent sketching method. Okay, so tangent sketching. Okay, I just call it tangent sketch lah. Tangent sketch. So what is tangent sketch? It means you try to roughly guess how the tangent line looks like, right? So if your dy dx is positive, what does it mean? Do you remember dy dx is actually gradient tangent, right? Gradient tangent. Okay, but sometimes we can call it gradient function. Sometimes we call it gradient function, GF. Okay, and sometimes we also call it gradient curve. But I want you all to anggap dia sebagai benda yang sama. These are all the same thing, right? They are all dy dx. So if your dy dx is positive, means what? It means your gradient tangent is positive. It means when you sketch your tangent, your tangent line will look like this, which is going up. Because when your gradient positive, then only your line will look like this, right? So when your line look like this, your gradient will be positive. When your line going down, then the gradient will be negative. But what if the line is like this, like straight like this? If it's completely horizontal like this, means the gradient is 0. Okay, and then there's another line which is like this. If like this, the gradient will be infinity. Okay, but you don't have to know that actually, right? You just have to know that for this type of lines, okay, they have gradient, but for these two lines they don't have gradient. And if they have no gradient, the equation for this kind of line will only have one variable. It means for this line and this line, the equation will only have one variable. It's either x equals number or y equals number. But for this one, it will have two variable lah, y and x, and the equation will be y equal mx plus c. Okay, but anyways, let's come back here. So the tangent sketching for this one will be going up because the gradient is positive. D by dx means gradient. I sudah cakap banyak kali. So if the sign is positive, means the gradient like this, right? Then what if the d by dx is 0? It means your gradient tangent is 0. So if your gradient tangent is 0, is like this, right? And then the last one is when your d by dx is positive, so your line like this, right? So after tangent sketch, now you can graph sketch. Okay, the graph sketch. So now I can sketch the graph, but I need to erase these lines. So can we do that? Okay, yes. So yeah. So now it's time to sketch the graph. So like this, like this, like this. So imagine joining these three together. So it will end up looking like this, something like this. Oh, sorry. Okay, so it will end up looking something like this, and then flat, and then go up. Yeah. So we can like roughly get the shape lah. Okay, it's just a sketch, so you don't have to, doesn't have to be accurate. And where do you think is the point P? Where do you think is the point P? It's not in, it's like in the middle here. Yeah, point P. So this is the point P. Patutlah tak boleh tentukan maximum or minimum, right? Because if you look at this point P, it's not maximum and it's not minimum, right? Yeah, because it's not the highest point. Yeah, that still keep going. Like there is point higher than this, and it's not minimum point because other point yang lagi minimum. So that is why point P is not, what do you call it? It's not we can't call it maximum and we cannot call it minimum, right? Then what do we call it? Okay, there's a name for this. We call it the inflection point, right? So this question they say determine the nature of stationary point P, right? So what I'm gonna write here is point P is an inflection point. Okay, I think I should write down the coordinate inside also. So point P 0, 4, right? Yeah, 0, 4 is an inflection point. Okay, I'll tell you this in Bahasa Melayu because I think it will be important. Inflection point in Bahasa, inflect, this is C, inflect. In Bahasa Melayu, it's called titik lengkok balas, right? Titik lengkok balas, right? And what is titik lengkok balas? It's called inflection point. It means the point is like this. You cannot call it maximum, you cannot call it minimum. It's like, how to say? It's like flat like this, right? So then we call it inflection point. Okay. All right. Can I repeat one more time to make you understand better? It means for this question, if you want to get full mark, you don't even have to do this one. I just do this because I want to explain it lah. Okay, that's why. Okay, so I'm gonna explain one last time. I'll go through quickly. So they want you to determine nature of stationary point P by using tangent sketching method. It means okay, if you want to determine nature means we have to use second derivative to determine whether it's minimum or maximum. Okay, determine nature means write down minimum or maximum. But why this point P cannot determine using second derivative? Because when you ganti the zero inside the second derivative, you get zero. And if it's zero, you don't know whether it's this case or this case, right? Because when it's bigger zero, we know it's minimum, smaller zero is maximum. But if it's zero, we don't know, right? That is why you have to use another method called the tangent sketching method. And this is how the tangent sketching method looks like. Get the x, and then get one value that is like slightly bigger than the x, and then the other one slightly smaller, and then find the dy dx, take the sign, and then sketch the tangent, and then sketch the graph. And after you sketch the graph, you will write down that point is actually an inflection point, right? Or we call it titik lengkok balas in Malay, in Bahasa Melayu. So why we call it inflection point is because it's not maximum and it's not minimum. Okay. Okay. That is why I have to use the tangent sketching method, right? Because if the point is like, for example, point Q, you don't need the tangent sketching method to know whether this is maximum or minimum. This is definitely maximum because, yeah, it's maximum. But point P is like, you can't determine. That's why. And remember, we call this the inflection point. Okay. All right. I hope you understand how to do it. Actually, this tangent sketching method, it comes out in quite a few times actually in trial papers. Okay. So I hope you tahu macam mana nak buat lah. And of course, you don't have to write all this during exam. These are all my notes. Okay. I'm just writing it beside. This is just nota. But this one kena tulis lah. This is the working. All right. Okay. Let's continue. Okay, for number 7, I will do it up here. All right. So they says given integrate 5 negative 3 fx dx is 7. Find integrate this one, right? Okay, the first thing first is I will separate this. Yeah, separate. What do I mean by separate? Means I will separate become like this 5 negative 3 and then 2 fx dx minus integrate 5 negative 3 3x dx. Okay. Ya, boleh separate macam ni. Tapi kalau kena plus minus lah. Plus minus baru boleh. And when you separate it, now you're left with this one, right? And if you have 2 and fx and dia darab, the 2 can letak depan. So it becomes 2, 5, negative 3, fx dx, right? And we already know what is integrate negative 3 to 5. Fx dx is 7, right? So this whole thing will just be 7. And 2 times 7 is 14. But you still have to minus with this one, right? Okay, this one you cannot sub 7. Because look carefully. Even though the numbers here, even though the numbers here 5 negative 3 is the same as this, but it's not 7 because this is integrate fx. This one is integrate 3x. So they are not the same. They're not the same. So I cannot sub 7 here, but what we can do is we can integrate ourselves. So integrate 3x, power have to plus 1, right? So x power 2 and then divide the new power 2 and then 5 negative 3. And now I have to substitute 5 inside and then substitute negative 3 inside and then tengah-tengah kena minus. Okay, that's why I got two bracket. So first bracket is to substitute 5. So let's sub 5 inside. 5 square 25 times 3 75 over 2. Siap. Sub negative 3 square 9 times 27 over 2. And then in the middle have to minus lah. Now I will press 75 over 2 minus 27 over 2. Let's press calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 24. Yeah. So what is 14 minus 24? Negative 10. That's the answer. Okay, sudah siap. So how many marks for this? 3 marks. So not so bad. Okay, let's go with B. Diagram 6 shows a graph of curve y equals fx. So I think it's talking about this one. It's the curve, right? And then straight line y equals gx, which is this line. Yeah. So there's a curve, there's a line. And then it says given that p0 fx dx minus p0 gx dx equals to 10. Okay, let's label this region using red color and let's label using this using blue color. And then the 10, I will write using black color. So the red color region is referring to where? Integrate towards x-axis because it's dx and it's fx, means the curve or the straight line? The curve. So this is the curve and I want to integrate the curve towards x-axis. And when I'm integrating towards x, I'm taking from 0 to p, which is from here to here. So the red color region is actually like this. Yeah. So this red color is referring to this one, right? Then what about the blue color one? The blue color is integrate p0 gx dx. And I'm integrating gx, means the straight line. And I'm integrating towards x-axis or towards y-axis. Towards x also, because it's dx, but it's from p to 0, so it's from here to here. So it means the blue color region is this one, right? This whole thing is referring to this, okay? And if you look at what they write in the middle here, minus, it means you take the red color minus the blue color. Hey, hello, if you take the red color minus blue color, what you get? Red color, red color is the whole thing, right? And then blue color is just the trapezium. So if you take this one minus this one, you will get atas sini lah. It means the 10 is atas sini lah. That's the 10. Okay. So if I want to label this diagram, I will just label 10 here lah. The 10 is the area from here, right? And the soalan number 1 asks us to shade the region represented by this one minus this one, which is the same as what they write atas sini, right? So I already know where's the shaded region lah. It's here, right? Okay, but I have to erase everything and shade again, right? So let's erase everything. Okay, now I already know the answer. It's the shaded region here is talking about this one. Okay, and I also know the area here. It's 10 because they give it already, right? So let's shade nicely. So this is the shaded region, okay, and it's 10. Okay, so this is only worth 1 marks. So yeah, you just shade only lah. Okay, number 2, let's go. Find integrate p0 fx dx in terms of p and q. So let's write down integrate towards x, right? Towards x, and it's curve or straight line, curve, right? Because fx, and then from 0 to p. So I want to find what area now. Let's use red color to find out what's the region. So integrate curve towards x. Curve is the fx, this one, and then towards x-axis from 0 to p. So they're asking us to find this area. You understand? This area, right? But in order to find this area, I already know the area here is 10, right? So I just have to take 10 plus with the trapezium lah, right? 10 plus with trapezium. So I'm just gonna write 10 straight away and then plus with the area of trapezium. And for area of trapezium, you can use the area of trapezium formula, which is 1/2 times sum of parallel sides, which is q plus 2q, because this is 2q. So panjang sini 2q, sini q. So you get 2q plus q, and then multiply with the distance here, which is p. And then you will get 10 plus 2q plus q is 3q. So you get 3pq over 2. Yeah, this is the answer. Okay. So hope you understand. All right. Let me explain a bit about the area of trapezium formula. The area of trapezium formula is, let's say this is A, B, C. The formula is 1/2 times A plus B, where A and B must be parallel, and then times with C. Okay, the distance between them. That is why I take Q plus 2Q, and then times with the P here, right, to get the area of trapezium. So yeah, that's the answer. They say in terms of P and Q, right? So yeah, in terms of PQ, so that's 2 marks. Okay. Okay, let's do number 8. Let's read the question. Convert the non-linear equation, okay, y equals p square root x minus q over x to linear form y equals mx plus c. Okay, this one is not, it means this one is non-linear lah. They already say it's non-linear. I have to change to linear. Okay, I have to change to y equals mx plus c, where p and q are constant. Hence, state the y-axis and x-axis for the linear equation. Okay, usually when we do linear law, most of the question will tell us the y-axis. They will not tell us directly, but they will give you somewhere in the question. Like they will, how to say, hide it, and then, but they will tell you what is the y-axis. But this question, actually, they never tell me. So I have to change to linear form myself. And there will be more than one way to do it. Yeah, it means like ada beberapa cara untuk buat, ada like there's like bukan satu saja cara untuk tukar jadi linear form. Ada banyak different answer for this, right? So let me tell you how I will change to linear form if the soalan never give me any guide. They never tell me the y-axis. So what you do now is you have to make sure sebelah kanan x tak boleh muncul 2 kali. If x muncul 2 kali means it's not linear form. So if you look here, the x muncul 2 kali. Muncul 2 kali means the x appear 2 times. So if the x appear 2 times, you will try to make sure the x muncul sekali saja. You want the x to appear 1 time only. So what you do is you have try to hilangkan one of these x lah. And how to hilangkan one of these x? Let's say I want to hilangkan this x. How will you do it? You will darab x. Because when you darab x, when you take everything times x, this x will hilang because you can cut, right? But some student will ask me like this, hey sir, what if I hilangkan this x? Can also. But if you want to hilangkan this x, you have to divide square root x. And your answer will be different. But it's okay, betul also. Okay? Because the schema will, because this question, they never tell us what y-axis and x-axis they want. It means they definitely have to accept more than one answer. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it the simple way. I will just darab x. It means I will just hilangkan this x. So now it become xy. And what is p square root x times x? It will become px power 3 over 2. Okay, px power 3 over 2. And the reason is because when you multiply with x, you are taking x square root. Square root means power 1 over 2 times with x power 1. Okay, no power in power 1. And when we have same base, the power have to plus. So 1 over 2 plus 1. So you get x power 3 over 2. That is why here I write x power 3 over 2. And then minus with qx, x and x cut, you left with q here. Right? And this is your linear form lah. Yeah, this is your linear form. Okay, but I'm gonna write it a little bit different because we all know x power 3 over 2 is actually x power 3 power 1 over 2. Do you agree? Because 3 times 1 over 2 is 3 over 2, right? And we all know 1 over 2 means square root, right? So yeah, I will write it like this. So it'll be xy equals to p and then square root x cubed minus q, right? This one and this one is the same thing. Okay, I just write it a little bit different. So now this is linear form already because x hanya muncul x only appear one time on the right side. Okay. Okay. Some student will say, hey, sir, the X also got muncul 2 times. You see? Okay, that one is on the front, dekat depan. Okay, what I'm concerned here, the concern here is on this side. Okay, side yang belakang. So side yang belakang yang kena X muncul satu kali saja. So this is linear form already. So you can write y equals mx plus c. But they got say state the y-axis and x-axis, right? So I recommend writing the y-axis and then the x-axis. So what is the y-axis for this? Xy. And what's the x-axis? Square root x cubed. Okay, so yeah, that's the answer. All right. Of course, this one you can erase lah. This one you don't have to show it. This is just my explanation just now. Okay. So yeah, that's all. Let's see how many marks. 2 marks for this. Okay lah, good enough. Okay, let's do B. All right, B says the variable x and y satisfy this equation. Okay, let's write down y power 4 equals x e power a. So remember, e is actually a number, like 2 point something punya number, such that a is constant. The graph of ln y against ln x is a straight line. This question is the question yang kita biasa punya, yang dia akan bagi tahu you punya y-axis, x-axis. Bukan macam A. Macam A tadi, they never tell us the y-axis, x-axis. That's why I have to do it myself. And I told you already, right? There's more than one way to do this question. Like ada jawapan lain, ada cara lain. But the question yang kita familiar is this type of question. They will give you the y-axis, x-axis. So they already say ln y against ln x. So definitely your y-axis is ln y, your x-axis is ln x, right? And then they say number 1, find the gradient of straight line. Okay, you cannot find gradient first. You have to change the equation to linear form first. Okay, baru boleh cari gradient. Because now your equation is not in linear form. When we are doing linear law, we always change to linear form. Okay, kalau ada bagi equation, terus tukar jadi linear form. Okay, macam mana nak tukar jadi linear form? Okay, if you want to tukar jadi linear form, you have to make sure the equation mesti sama dengan y-axis. Alright, mesti sama. Right? So sekarang tak sama because the y-axis is ln y, and ln y means log y base e. Right? So in order to make them the same, now I have to tambah log both sides. So what I'll do is I'll tambah log base e on both sides. Right? And if you tambah log, you have to tambah one on one side, on the other side also have to tambah, and they have to be the same base. And let me tell you, the base, you can actually put any base you want. But if you are smart, you will put base e lah, because you want the y-axis to match with the y-axis. You want the equation to match with y-axis. So of course you put base e, right? And this will be y power 4, and the power can letak depan. And this one will be x times e power a, right? And now you become 4 log ey, and this one is single log, nothing in between means times. So single log times boleh jadi separate log plus. So it'll be log ex plus log e power a, and the power can letak depan. And what is log ee? 1. So this one can cut, become 1, right? And since I want the equation to match with the y-axis, it means the 4 also I don't want. So I will pindah the 4 to the other side, become bahagi. So Instead of writing log x bahagi 4, I will write 1 over 4 log ex. Actually, it's the same thing, but I want to write like this because later when I write y equals mx plus c, I want my m and my x to be separate. So that's why I never write the log xe atas. Okay, even though it's the same thing. And then tambah a, right? And I think sudah siap already. Yeah, this is the answer already. This is linear form already because the equation sudah match dengan y-axis and also it's already susun in gradient linear form. Y equals mx plus c. Okay, but I think I have to change the way I write. I think I have to write ln. Okay, log base e means ln. So ln y equals to 1 over 4 ln x plus a. So yeah, this is linear form. Y equals mx plus c. Your y-axis is ln y, your x-axis is ln x, which is perfect. That's what they want. And then what is and the soalan number 1 asks you to find gradient, right? So the gradient is 1 over 4 lah. So the m is 1 over 4. Siap lah, that's the answer. And what about second question? So second question says, given that the straight line intersect ln y-axis at ln y 0.5, means the y-intercept lah. The y-intercept is 0.5 because they say, how to say? Intersects the, oh, I made a mistake. This 4, when you move here, become bahagi 4, right? It means the a also have to bahagi 4. So this one is not, this one is actually a over 4. So I just noticed my careless mistake here. Because the 4 I move them, so I have to divide 4, right? So this a also have to divide 4. Okay, the log no need already, that one cut already. That one become 1 already. So this one is actually a over 4. Okay, so I seal up the guys 2. So this is the correct answer. Okay, then number 2, how to do? Given that the straight line intersects ln y-axis. Ln y is the y-axis lah. And at 0.5, find the value of a. Means the 0.5, that's the y-intercept. Okay, and we from our equation, we already know the y-intercept is a over 4, right? So if the y-intercept is 0.5, means a over 4 equals 0.5, and my a will be 0.5 times 4, which is 2. So yeah, that is the answer. Okay, so 4 marks plus with 2 marks. Yep, that's how I would do this question. Okay, hope you understand. Okay, let's do number 9. I think this is a vector question. Let's read. Given that vector PQ is 4i minus 6j. Okay, when you see ij, it means this is a coordinate vector question. Okay, and you need to know if the vector is in terms of I, it means this is pergerakan, for pergerakan yang kiri kanan punya. Okay, kalau positif ke kanan lah, kalau negatif ke kiri. Okay, and then what about the j vector? The j vector is for pergerakan yang atas bawah, like vertical movement atas bawah. And kalau positif atas lah, kalau negatif bawah. Okay, so this one is positive I and then negative j. It means ke kanan ke bawah. That's what it means. Okay. Okay, and then the rest is vector PR 2i plus 4j, vector QR negative 2i plus 10j. And then T is on the line QR such that QT equals 3TR. Okay, they never give us any diagram, right? But I think I have to draw this myself or else I will get lost later. So T is on the line of QR such that QT 3TR. So if I were to draw the lines, who will be in between? T. T will be in between QR, right? And they tell us QT equals 3TR. It means they are trying to tell us the ratio for QT and TR. Okay, if they say QT equals 3TR, you need to know that when you baca ratio, you kena baca macam ni, dalam dengan dalam, luar dengan luar, right? It means the QT ratio is 3, the TR ratio is whatever in front here. Okay, nothing here means 1. So QT, the ratio is 3, so I'm going to label 3 like this. And then TR is 1. And make sure you bulatkan lah sebab dia ratio. Okay, and don't forget you actually have the vector QR. It means you have the whole vector QR, which is negative 2i plus 10j. So can we find vector QT? Yeah, very easy. You can find it very easily because QT is actually 3 over 4 times with the QR. Then what about TR? Can I find TR? Can also. It's 1 over 4 times with QR. Okay, but let's not find it first. Okay, let's see what they want. If dia ada suruh cari, baru saya cari. So soalan A says find vector PT in terms of IJ. Okay, let's use the information they give us. What we can do? PQ plus QT lah. Because PQ vector is given for free already up here, 4i minus 6j, right? And then QT, walaupun tak ada sekarang, but I already tell you, you can find it because QT is a part of QR. QT is part of QR, right? Maksudnya QT adalah sebahagian daripada QR, right? And you have the ratio and you also have the vector QR. So QT, kita boleh tulis dia 3 over 4 times QR because QT is 3 portion, total is 4 portion. So 3 over 4 times with vector QR. So now it becomes 4i minus 6j plus 3 over 4 QR vector, which is negative 2i plus 10j. And then now you will get 4i minus 6j plus, this one just expand normally lah. Negative, cut 3 over 2. And then cut 15 over 2j. And then now I dengan I boleh buat, j dengan j boleh buat. So 4 minus 3 over 2, 5 over 2i. J dengan j boleh buat, plus 3 over 2j. So I think I did everything correctly. That's the answer. Okay. Use your calculator to help you. Huh? Okay, soalan B. Unit vector of PT. So I'll write here unit vector of PT. Hey, wait, I want to ask you, why when I write the unit vector, why not I write up here? Why I leave an empty space here first? Because what's the formula for unit vector? The formula is 1 over magnitude times with the vector. Okay, and when you write the vector, it has to be in terms of ij lah. Okay, so now you understand why I leave the empty space is because I need to find the magnitude first. So later baru saya boleh substitute dalam sini. And make sure you remember the formula for unit vector. I'll cakap sekali lagi. 1 over magnitude darab dengan vector. Okay, let's find the magnitude. How to find magnitude? So in order to find magnitude, I have to use, okay, I'll write like this. Okay, PT. Okay, this is not modulus. This is not modulus. In this chapter, this symbol, we call it magnitude. Right? So to find magnitude, the formula we use is square root, bracket square, bracket square. It's like the Pythagoras theorem. Yeah, but it's like Pythagoras theorem. And sini you akan letak the number in front of I, and then sini you letak number in front of J. It means you letak the coefficient of ij. So for this case, vector PT is this one, right? So what is the number in front of ij? 502 and 302. And now you straight away use your calculator to help you, right? So what is 502 square? You will get, okay, let me open bracket. Okay, 502 square and then plus 3/2 square. So, okay, my calculator give me 17/2. It means here you will get square root 17/2. But if you press your calculator square root answer, your calculator give you square root 34/2. Okay, if you are using the black color, black color pula, you are using the white color punya calculator, the FX 570EX calculator, they will straight away rationalize for you. Yeah, they will straight away rationalize for you. That's why it's like so easy, right? But can I show you how to rationalize? Okay, even though I know most of you have that calculator, right? You just press this one, then they straight away do it. So I'm gonna show you how to get there. So for those who's using the black color calculator, you cannot, they will not, the calculator won't rationalize for you. So you have to learn this also. So what you will do is, okay, this square root is not for 17 sahaja, it's for 2 also. So both also have to square root like this. And in order to rationalize, you have to darab dengan square root 2 to hilangkan the square root dekat denominator. And when you darab, you will get square root 34. And then square root 2 is square root 2. So this is how you rationalize, right? And this answer is the same as the answer yang calculator bagi saya tadi, right? Okay, but anyways, that's how we do it. Yeah? Okay, now we can find our unit vector. And remember the formula. What's the formula? The formula for unit vector is 1 bahagi magnitude. And the magnitude, I find it already. It's square root 34/2. All right. And then times with the vector in terms of ij, which is 5/2i plus 3/2j. And this one, you can actually tulis atas. But when you tulis atas, you have to terbalikkan. Macam ni. So dia akan jadi 2 over square root 35 because sudah terbalik. Kenapa kena terbalik? Because 1 bahagi square root 34/2 means 1 times 2 over square root 34. Okay, that's why it's terbalik. And don't forget to multiply lagi dengan 5/2i plus 3/2j. And now you just expand normally lah. Okay, when you expand this one, the 2 and 2 can cut. Then you just left with 5 over square root 34. But you don't cut, because later if you cut it, then later when you times with the 3/2, you thought the 2 cut already, but actually the 2 has to be there. So you just cut it in your head. So the 2 just cut it in your head, left with 5 over square root 34i. And then plus these 2 and these 2 also cut again, but cut it in your head, and then you left with 3 over square root 34j. So this is the answer. This is the unit vector. Okay, so that's the answer. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, let's continue with number 10, but I need some space, so I'm gonna do it here. Okay, let's do it here lah. Number 10A. Okay, let's read. Simplify this thing, this thing. Okay, let's write down the soalan. Okay, let's straight away expand lah. Let's straight away expand. Yeah, no need to waste time. So the first thing is take 3 times 14. Yeah, you can press calculator. You will get 42. Okay. and then plus with the next one is 3 times 2 square root h, which is 6 square root h, and then 2 square root h times 14, 28 square root h, 28, and then the last one is 2 square root h times 2 square root h. Okay, but when you times this one, you need to know number can only times with number, square root can only times with square root. Nombor hanya boleh darab dengan nombor, square root dengan square root boleh darab. So 2 times 2, you will get 4. And then square root h times square root h will just be h. And then you just end up with 42. Okay, yang ni square root h dengan square root h, dia boleh buat sekali. What is 6 square root h plus 28 square root h? Just press 6 plus 28 and you will get 34. And don't forget to write square root h plus 4h. So is this the answer? Okay lah, yeah lah, that's the answer lah. Why so easy, huh? Okay, so yeah, 2 marks only. So yeah, that's the answer. Okay, so let's up. So easy, okay? Okay, let's do B. Diagram 7 shows trapezium ABCD. So this is the trapezium. So they got give us some length here. And then this says given the length of AD and BC is this one and this one. Okay, they already labeled for me. The height of trapezium is half the length of AD. So what is the height then? Half of AD. It means you will take AD bahagi 2 lah. So 6 plus 4 square root H bahagi 2 bahagi 2. So when you halve it, you will get 3 plus 2 square root H. So this is the height of trapezium. And then they says area of trapezium is this one. Find the value of H. Okay, we have to use the area of trapezium formula. Do you know what's the area of trapezium formula? 1 over 2 times A plus B and then times C. A and B must be the parallel sides. Okay, so now let's go. 1 over 2 times sum of parallel sides, which is 8 minus 2 square root h plus with 6 plus 4 square root h. It's okay if you don't put the bracket here, because even if you open the bracket also, it will be the same thing, because the depan bracket is plus, so don't have to worry about that. And then darab lagi dengan the height of the trapezium, which is 3 plus 2 square root h. So sini saya tulis 3 plus 2 square root h. And now the whole thing can equals to what? 27 plus 17 square root h. So how to do this? How to do this question? Okay, first of all, I notice dalam sini boleh buat, right? So number dengan number boleh tambah. So 8 plus 6, 14. So I'm gonna write 1 over 2, 14. And then negative 2 square root h dengan 4 square root h boleh buat, sebab square root h dengan square root h boleh buat. So what is negative 2 square root h plus 4 square root h? Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. Then so it will be 2 square root h. And then darab lagi dengan 3 plus 2 square root h equals 27 plus 17 square root h. Okay, next step, I will continue here. What you do? Okay, the 1 over 2 you can expand, right? So when you times 1 over 2 means divide 2. So 14 divide 2, 7, 2 divide 2, 1. So it's just left with 7 plus square root h. And then multiply with 3 plus 2 square root h equals to 27 plus 17 square root h. And now I will just expand this one. Expand. Macam tadi lah. Like just now. Okay. So let's go. 7 times 3, 21. 7 times 2 square root h, 14 square root h. Number hanya boleh darab dengan number. And then the square root h, nothing happened. Square root h times 3. This one will just be 3 square root h. Yeah. Okay. Because when you darab, nothing will happen to the square root h. Just 3 have to place beside. And then square root h times 2 square root h. Okay, the 2 just write it. Nothing will happen to the 2. Because square root hanya boleh darab dengan square root. So square root h times square root h is h. And then this whole thing equals to 27 plus 17 square root h. Okay, sampai sini. Oh, square root h dengan square root h boleh buat. So 21. 14 square root h plus 3 square root h. 14 plus 3, 17. So 17 square root h lah. Plus 2h equals to 27 plus 17 square root h. This one can cut. Why can cut? Is because when you move the plus 17 to the other side, it becomes minus 17 square root h. So 17 square root h minus 17 square root h is 0 lah. So you just left with 2h equals to 27 plus 21. Move there, become minus. So what is 27 minus 21? 6. So 6 divided 2 is 3. So that's the answer. Okay. So hope you understand. This is the working. Okay. Let's continue. All right. Question number 11. Let's read. Diagram 8 shows the graph of function fx equals to modulus m plus 2x. So when the graph, when the when the equation got modulus, it means the graph will look like this, like a V shape. Okay, because modulus means there will be no graph below the x-axis. That's why it will reflect on the x-axis like this. And they say for the domain 0 until 6. So yeah lah, betul lah, from 0 until 6 for the domain. Okay, domain means the x-axis. Okay, or you can say the object. Yeah, the object. So the object is from 0 to 6. Okay, now we do A. Find the value of m and n. Okay, how to find m and n? Let me think. Okay, M is this one, all right, and then N is this one. Okay. Before that, let's see what information they got give us. So in the diagram, they actually got put in some points here. So the first point given here is 0, 4, right? It means when x equals 0, y equals 4. And then what about this one? What about this point? This is n0, right? It means when y equals 0, the x is equals to n. It means this is the x-intercept, right? And then what about this one? This one, I only know the x coordinate. The y coordinate, I'll just write y because I don't know. I don't know what's the y coordinate, right? So how can I find the value of m and n? Okay, I can already see it. It's very simple. Because if you look at this equation, fx equals to modulus m plus 2x. If you want to find m, all you need to do is just sub in the x and y. Do you agree? Y and fx is the same thing. Okay, so in order to find m, what you need to do, you just have to sub in the x and the fx. It means the y lah. Okay, it means x and y lah. So do you have the x and y? Yes, 0, 4. Right? Cannot use this one because this one not complete. Okay, because this point you only have y but don't have x, and then this point you have x but you don't have y. So if you want to find m, you need to have both. Right? So that's why you have to ganti 0, 4. And why you can ganti like this is because God passes through. Okay, the other passes through. That's why I can ganti macam ni. So when I passes through, I will ganti x0, y4. So the whole fx, I will write 4. I repeat one more time. Y and fx is the same thing. Okay, okay. So the y-axis is fx, right? It means the y is fx. Okay, so 4 is inside the fx, and then modulus m plus 2x, and the x is 0. So now you get 4 equals modulus. Okay, 2 times 0 is 0, and then m plus 0 is just going to be m. So it will be modulus m equals 4. Okay, sampai sini banyak student buat macam ni. The student will say, oh sir, modulus, when you modulus negative number, you will be positive. So if modulus m, it means it will become m equals 4. Salah, salah. Siapa ajar you macam ni, buat macam ni, salah. Hello. When you modulus, you cannot modulus unknown. When you modulus number, then it become positive, right? Modulus negative 7, 7, modulus 7, positive 7 also lah. Modulus negative 5, 5, modulus 5, 5. You can only do modulus when like it's a modulus number, when it's number inside. But if inside is a unknown, okay, like m or x or k, you cannot, how to say? You cannot modulus it. Then what is the correct way? The correct way is to pindah modulus to the other side. So what happens is when you pindah modulus, dia akan ada dua jawapan. Okay, satu positif, satu negatif. So your m will be 4 and your m will be negative 4, like this, right? But one of these answer, one of the one of these answer is correct and another one is wrong. But we don't know which one is correct, which one is wrong now, right? Why I cakap macam tu? Why I say like that? Why I say one of this is definitely like wrong? Because m can only have the one value, and they already said here find value. It means mesti ada satu jawapan saja. But now I don't know which one is correct. But what I know now is like only one of these can be correct. So what happens now is I will try to substitute 4 inside and then negative 4 inside to find n later and see which answer makes sense, right? Okay, mesti akan ada satu jawapan yang tak ada make sense one, and that one I will reject. Okay, so let's assume my m is 4. So when my m is 4, what will be my fx? My fx will be modulus 4 plus 2x because my m is 4, right? And now let's try to find n, which is the x-intercept. So x-intercept, you will ganti y equals 0. So it will be 0 equals modulus 4 plus 2x. And now I'll find the x-intercept. Okay, what happens when inside modulus got unknown, got x? It means you cannot do the modulus. So how to do it is the correct way is to pindah modulus to the other side. So when you pindah, there will be plus minus, right? But 0 tak ada plus minus. Negative 0 is still 0, positive 0 is still 0. So 0 is like neutral, dia tak ada positive negative. That's why you tak payah tulis dua jawapan because negative 0 is still 0. Okay, but this one you have to write because it's 4 mah. That's why lah. It's just that 0 special saja. So now you can find your x. 4 pindah jadi negative 4, divide negative 2, I think it's 2. Negative 2. Because 4 pindah jadi negative 4. Negative 4 divide 2, negative 2. So, you rasa logic tak? This point is negative 2, 0. Tak logic kan? Why tak logic? Ya lah, because this one must be positive. Because negative 2 means the point duduk sini. Betul tak? So, definitely this is the wrong answer. But I don't want you to correction tape the whole thing. I just want you to write. I want you to show the pemeriksa you do everything, but you write this word. You write the word rejected. Okay, so definitely m cannot be 4. It must be negative 4, right? So let's try with the -4 answer. Okay. So when m is -4, what is your fx? Okay, let's draw a line here. So what is your fx? Your fx will be modulus m plus 2x, which is -4 plus 2x. And then now you will ganti y equals 0 also to find the point n, to find x-intercept. So it will be modulus -4 plus 2x here. And same thing like just now, you will pindah the modulus to the other side. But when you pindah ada dua jawapan, satu positif, satu negatif. Tapi 0 tak ada positif, negatif. -0 is still 0. That's why you just write 0 saja. And now you can find x. -4 hantar jadi 4. 4 bahagi 2 is 2. So now you get the point 2, 0. Okay. So make sense, logic or not? Is it possible for this to be 2, 0? Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. So it means the answer is 2. But wait. Four. Wait. Okay lah, betul lah. Yeah. So it means, what is my final answer? Find the value of m and n. So the m must be what? Must be -4 lah. Okay, m must be -4. Okay, because when m is -4, it will give you n equals 2. So this is the correct answer, not the m4 answer, because when m is 4, they give you x negative. That's why we reject this. Okay, so the only answer that makes sense here is this one, m -4, n equals 2. So I hope you understand my explanation for A. Now we can do B. So B, I will write, okay, B is very simple, so I'm just gonna write it here. Okay, it's just 1 mark only. So they say find the range of the function. Okay, do you remember they got give us the domain range? The range for domain is 0 until 6. Yeah, because that's the x-axis linear range, 0 until 6. And now they want to find range. It means if they never say range of what, it means for y-axis. If they just said range, they never say range for domain or codomain or x-axis, y-axis, means for the y-axis, right? So for the x-axis is from 0 to 6, but from y-axis is from 0 to here. Okay, it means if I want domain for x-axis, saya tengok paling kiri to paling kanan. But if I want range for y-axis, I tengok paling bawah paling atas. So I already know in the middle I have to write fx, and then the range will be in between something and something lah. So paling bawah I know is 0, tapi paling atas is this one, right? And I don't know this one. So how? Okay, you can find it very easily because you already know your mn. So I'm gonna erase here. Okay, so for B, in order to know this point, you just have to sub 6 inside the equation, right? So what is your function just now? Fx equals to m, and we already know m has to be -4, and then plus 2x, right? And then now I just sub the x with 6. So it becomes 6 equals to modulus -4 plus 2 times 6, right? Okay, 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. Modulus 8 is 8. It means this one is 8, and the y here is 8. Okay, so it means this point is 6, 8. This point is 6, 8. So the range will be 0 until 8. That's the answer. Okay, so remember, range means paling bawah sampai paling atas punya range. Okay, tengok atas bawah. Okay, tapi kalau range for x, range for domain, kita tengok kiri kanan. Okay, kiri kanan. We look at the x-axis. Tapi kalau range, we look at the y-axis. Okay, sudah siap. Let's do C. Okay, last question. Let's go. Find the values of x if fx has to be bigger sama dengan 2. Okay, if you look at the y-axis, fx bigger sama dengan 2 means what? This is 4, right? So where do you think is 2? Like somewhere here, right? So if this is 2, if I draw a dotted line like this, you will see that this dotted line will touch the line will at 2 points, right? And since they say bigger means the answer will be here and here, right? It means your x answer will be smaller than this point, and with bigger than this point, right? It means saya kena cari yang ni dengan yang ni lah. And how you do that is very easy. You just take 2, substitute inside the fx equation. Yeah, sub inside the fx, not the x, inside fx, and you will get 2 answer, and that 2 answer will be this one and this one. But you have to write smaller than this one, bigger than this one lah. Okay, but there is another way to do it. Another way to do it is you straight away take your fx. Okay, what is your fx? Modulus m plus 2x, but the m is -4, so -4 plus 2 times x, so like this. Okay, another way to do this question is, since they say fx have to be bigger sama dengan 2, and you already know your fx, right? You straight away do like that. Yeah. But you have to be careful, because when you do this kind of question, you have to change this to equal first. Okay, you have to temporarily change this to equal first. Because if you don't change to equal, later you will get confused and you will do the wrong thing lah. Okay, so you change to equal dulu, get the two answer first. So why I say got two answer, because modulus, when you you have to pindah modulus, yeah. So it becomes one satu jawapan two, another one is -2, and there will be two x answer. So the first answer will be 2 plus 4, 6 divide 2, 3. The other answer is -2 plus 4, 2, 2 divide 2, 1. Right? And after you do this, then only you look at the symbol. It's bigger, right? So if it bigger means x smaller than the small number, or and x bigger than the big number, like this. Because it's bigger. Do you remember you learned in quadratic? If bigger, you will load it here and here, right? So it will be x smaller than the nombor yang kecil, and then x bigger than the nombor yang besar. It's the same concept. When you're doing modulus also, it's like this. If it's bigger, you do like this. But if it's smaller, then you write in between, right? So this is the answer lah. X smaller than 1, x bigger 3. Okay, I realized they got put the line here, right? So you can also put the line. This line is like not important one lah. If they are ada letak, then you letak lah. If tak ada letak, tak payah letak. Okay, so this is the answer. It means when your fx is bigger sama dengan 2, when your fx is bigger sama dengan 2, your x has to be smaller than 1 and bigger than 3. That's why it's like here and here. Okay, like this. Okay, but there's I told you just now, right? There's actually another method to do it. You can also substitute the 2 inside the fx. Means this whole thing you letak 2, and then you get 2 answer. And after you get the 2 answer, you will write x smaller than the small number, x bigger than the big number. But it's the same lah. You will get the same answer. Okay, you will get the same answer as this, right? So hope you understand. Let's continue. Okay, number 12A, this is a show question. They want me to show that NC1 equals N. Okay, to show this, you need to know the NCR formula. What is the NCR formula? It's N factorial divided by R factorial bracket N minus R factorial. N is the number atas, R is the number bawah. So now we will use this formula to prove that NC1 equals to N. So what I'll do now, for my A, I'll just straight away write NC1 and I'll use this formula. So atas kena tulis N factorial, and N is the nombor atas. So for my equation, I mean for this question, the nombor atas is N, so N factorial also lah. And then bahagi R factorial. R factorial is the number bawah. So in my question, my number bawah is 1, so 1 factorial. Oh, and by the way, 1 factorial is actually 1. Okay, and then bracket N minus R, which is atas number tolak bawah punya number. So it will be N minus 1 here, and then factorial. Right? Okay, let's talk about factorial. So if I say 3 factorial is the same as 3 times 2 times 1. If I say 2 factorial, 2 times 1. If I say 1 factorial, just 1 lah. So it means n factorial is what? N factorial. It's actually n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times blah, 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 until you reach 1. Betul tak? You just keep on darab with the number before until you reach 1. So it means n factorial, we can write it like this. N darab dengan n minus 1 factorial. Right? Think about it. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, right? But if you look at 2 times 1, isn't this 2 factorial? Because 2 times 1 is 2 factorial. So it means 3 factorial is actually 3 times 2 factorial. So what about 7 factorial? It's actually 7 times 6 factorial, right? Because 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And we all can agree 7 factorial is 7 times with all this. So that is why the formula, we can say n factorial is n bracket n minus 1 factorial. So now if you understand this, now you can do this question. Because 1 factorial is 1. So the 1 I tak payah tulis. And then the n minus 1 factorial, I'll leave it down here. The 1 factorial tak payah tulis dah sebab dia 1. And then n factorial, I already said you can change to n bracket n minus 1 factorial. I already explained to you just now. And then the n minus 1 can potong-potong. So you left with n. And then siap already lah. Shown. They asked me to show, right? So I just, after shown already lah. Okay, that's the answer. Okay. Okay, 2 marks. So hope you understand. Okay, let's do B. Find the number of ways for 6 students, namely Amin, Amuta, Budi, Ben, Chong, Danny, sit at the round table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's draw a round table, circle. Okay, let's talk about circular permutation. Do you know for circular permutation what formula you have to use? Okay, for circular permutation, the formula we use must be n minus 1 factorial. Or it can be n factorial divide n. Okay, but if it's a necklace or bracelet question, like a bracelet necklace question, you have to divide 2, divide 2. But that one is like kalau bracelet necklace. Because for bracelet necklace question, the direction is not important. The direction clockwise, anti-clockwise is not important. That's why. Okay, but for this question, no need lah. This question no need to divide 2 because it's like sitting at the table. So It's not bracelet. So number one, Amin and Amuta must sit side by side. So got 6 students. So round table, there should be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if no condition means what? No condition means 6 minus 1 factorial. Okay, or you can say 6 factorial divide 6. Okay, you will get the same answer if you tekan this both, right? But itu kalau no condition. Okay, apa maksud no condition? It means tak ada siapa, tak ada siapa. It means macam mana duduk pun boleh lah. Okay, campur pun boleh, lelaki duduk sekali pun boleh, or campur pun boleh, apa pun boleh lah. But this one they say Amin and Amuta must sit side by side. So if Amin and Amuta must sit side by side, I have to join 2 seats, right? It means because they have to, when they move, they have to move together, and they must sit side by side. So one is like Amin, and then another one is Amuta. So they must sit by side. So that's why I have to join. So I am not arranging 6 in a circle. I'm arranging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a circle now. So now I will write 5 minus 1 factorial. Because you are arranging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because these two, they already join into one. The reason why we have to join them is because they must sit together. So if this thing move here, the Amin also have to follow. That's why it's like this. But we still have to times with what? Times with 2 factorial. You know why? Because the Amin Amuta, they can change place within them also. Okay, but of course they cannot change with other person lah. But they can change place with each other. Because if they change Amin Amuta, jadi Amuta Amin is still side by side. Yeah, they're still next to each other. So dia boleh jadi Amin Amuta Amin Amuta Amin Amuta Amin Amuta, tapi boleh juga jadi Amuta Amin Amuta Amin Amuta Amin, like that. Okay, that's what it means. So now time to press calculator. 4p4 times 2. So okay, my calculator give me 48. So that's the answer. Okay. Okay, now for question 2, let's read the question. Amin and Amuta cannot sit side by side. Okay, you already know Amin Amuta sit side by side is 48. Then if I want to know cannot sit side by side, how you do it? Okay, first you find the total first. Total means no condition. After you take the no condition total, then you minus with Amin Amuta side by side. Then you will get Amin Amuta not side by side. Okay, so what is the total no condition? No condition means duduk sama-sama pun boleh, separate pun boleh, campur pun boleh, apa pun boleh. So no condition means 6, arranging 6 in a circle, right? So it's 6 minus 1 factorial. This is no condition. But you have to minus with, because they want Amin Amuta cannot side by side. So if you don't want them to be side by side, then you have to take the total minus the one yang side by side, and then you will get the answer, right? So what is 5 factorial? 120 minus 48 is 72, right? So yeah, you can use your calculator to help you, and you will end up with the same answer. Okay, that's all. Okay, now we are in section B. I think this is a trigonometry question. So let's wait. So they say answer any 2 questions from this section, but I will jawab semua soalan. 13, 14, 15, I'll jawab all of it. Okay, even though they asked me to choose 2 only. Okay, but in exam you just choose 2 only lah. Okay, let's do A. Okay, I need some space. Do I have space? Okay, I will do up here. So I will salin the soalan up here first. Okay, let's make this smaller. So okay, this one useless already. I'll just use this space. So the soalan for A is y equals, what is it? Negative 3 cos 2x. And then they want me to sketch from 0 to 3 over 2 pi. So we have to be careful. So 0 until 3 over 2 pi. Okay, whenever I teach my own student, I always say the same thing. Don't draw the actual one first. Jangan lukis yang sebenar punya dulu. You conteng dulu dalam satu kertas. You conteng dulu. So conteng means you just, apa sih? Just roughly sketch how to say, just roughly sketch lah, so you have a rough idea how it looks like. So this is a cos graph, so it must look like an underwear shape, but it's cos 2x. If it's cos 2x means I have to draw 2 cos graph within 360. That's what it means, within 360. Okay, so this is what it means by cos 2x. Okay, then what about the 3? Okay, the 3 means the amplitude. So instead of writing 1 negative 1, you write 3 negative 3. And then for the final one is the negative. Negative means terbalikkan. Terbalikkan means everything have to flip upside down. So everything flip upside down. Oh, sorry, this one is 3. So if everything flip upside down, what happens? It will become like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, done already. So which one is the answer? The red color one or the black color one? The red color one. But don't tell me you pass up this one to the exam. You cannot pass up this one. This one is just the conteng punya. When you draw the real one, you have to draw it nicely. So now let's draw the real one. So when I draw the real one, you see I use ruler already. Okay, I try to make it straight. So okay, this one. So this one is y axis, all right, and the x axis I can just put in the middle. Yeah, just put in the middle. Okay, no need so big lah. Lebih kurang. Okay, this is good enough. This is a good size. Okay, and then x, and then this is 0. And here there will be 4 potongan, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will be until 2 pi, right? But we have to be careful, right? Because this question only asks us to draw until 3 or 2 pi. But I recommend you look at until 3 or 2 pi first. Because a lot of students salah, because why? Because when they look at they look at until 3 or 2 pi, and then they, how to say? They confuse little. They don't know how to where to stop, right? So I recommend you jangan tengok yang ni dulu. Last kali baru you tengok yang ni. Okay. So this one I don't care about it first. I'll just look it until 2 pi. And then here will be pi. Here will be 90 pi over 2. This one 3 pi over 2. And then the amplitude paling atas kita guna 3. Paling bawah kita guna -3. Okay, I know some student they might use another method where they go and substitute this one with 0, 1, -1 to find all the coordinate. Okay, can also, can also. You want to do like that, can also. Okay, but it takes time lah. If you do like this, the working will give you all this coordinate. Yeah, can also lah, up to you. Okay, but I will not do that because this is an easy graph to look at. That's why I straight away do it. Okay, now it's time to join it. But a lot of you when you join it, you join like this. You join like this. Okay, and then you complain not enough space. Hey, hello, this is a cos 2x graph. You have to make sure satu cos graph habis dekat 180. So it means you cannot go like this. If you go like this, mesti not enough space, right? So if you want cos 2x, you have to push back all the points. So this one, when you go up, dia tak boleh sentuh 90, dia kena sentuh 45. Okay, dia kena sentuh 45, and 45 is roughly in the middle, lebih kurang sini. So this is the point, okay? And then here will be, when here then only is 3, and then go down like this, and then go down like this. Okay, so can you see bila sampai pi, kita baru habis satu graph, satu cos graph, right? So remember, follow the red color one, and then go up. Okay, this one is how many degree? 135, and then 270, and then 315, and then go here, and then go here. Like that. Then only you can fit two cos graph. So now it's time to sketch. So sketch slowly. Remember, it's a cos punya shape, and it has to, how to say, have the shape. Okay, the shape has to match. Okay, this one also have to make sure dia betul-betul same level. This one also same level. Okay, another cos graph coming. Let's go. Lucas, and then Lucas, and then Lucas. Hey, this one I think I seal up label already. This one it should be like this, I think. Yeah, this one should be like this, right? So yeah, this is the answer. But they want you to draw until 3 over 2 pi only. Means where is 3 over 2 pi? Here, right? It means from here onwards, all have to erase. Okay, so I'm going to take out my eraser now and erase the extra part. Okay, some student will ask me this. Hey, sir, if you want to erase, why in the beginning, why not you just, why not just straight away at first, just now, we straight away just draw until here. Why we have to draw extra baru padam? Because if when we draw, if we draw until here, it will mess up our, how to say, because some student they might make careless mistake because they don't know how to erase. They might erase this also, right? Or maybe some of you might erase until here. You thought this one is 3 or 2 pi. That is why it's very confusing. So that's why I recommend you draw until 2 pi, the whole thing first. Then only you erase. Okay. So yeah, this is my graph. And then don't forget to write the equation y equals -3 cos 2x. So I think this is the answer already. Yeah. So soalan A, sketch the graph, 3 marks. So yeah, this is worth 3 marks. Okay, now what we can do B. So B says what? Let's read. Hence, using the same axis, sketch a suitable graph to find the number of solution, means number of intersection point. Number of solution means number of intersection point. For this equation, for 0 until 3 over 2 pi, state the number of solution. Number of solution means what? Number of intersection points. So let's write down the equation. pi over x plus 6 cos 2x equals 0. Okay, for soalan B, pi over x plus 6 cos 2x equals 0. So what we want to do now is we have to draw another graph inside this axis. We have to draw another graph. But when we draw another graph, we need to have the equation, right? If it's a straight line, we need to have the equation y equals mx plus c. But if it's like other line, we also need the equation, right? And equation always starts with y. Do you realize all equation always starts with y equals something, y equals something? But look at the equation they give us. The equation they gave us don't even have y, doesn't even have y. So that's why it's like I don't even know the equation. So how can I cari coordinate to lukis, right? I don't even have the equation of the graph. So my mission now is to jadikan supaya equation ni ada y. And how do you do that? You will look at your A. You will look at your A question. So your A question says y equals negative 3 cos 2x. It means I will try my best to change this to negative 3 cos 2x and then sub y inside. Okay. So first thing first, the pi over x, I will straight away move it to the other side. And then you're left with 6 cos 2x. Okay. But I want negative 3 cos 2x. So what I will do is I will divide everything by negative 2. Okay, why I divide negative 2? Because I know 6 divided negative 2 is negative 3, right? So you will get negative 3 cos 2x because I divide negative 2, right? And then this one, when you divide negative, it's just going to be positive pi over 2x. The 2 I tulis bawah because bahagi mah. So tulis bawah lah. And then the negative hilang already because negative, negative, positive. And finally, now I can sub y inside because negative 3 cos 2x is the y. So now finally, I get my equation already. So this is the equation of the new graph where I have to draw it now inside the Cartesian plane. But let me tell you, this is not a straight line. It's not a straight line. If the x duduk bawah, if the equation of the graph looks like this and the x duduk bawah, then it's not a straight line. It's a curve. Okay, it's a curve. Don't worry, I'll prove it to you why it's a curve later. But I want you to know now, if the x duduk atas, then it's a straight line. If the x duduk bawah, then it's not a straight line. So this one is not a straight line. Okay, now I will try to find points and I'll prove it to you. So first thing first is usually we will ganti x0, right? But if you ganti x0, you will get no answer because if you ganti x0, it will be y equals pi over 2 times 0. And 2 times 0 is 0, right? And what is pi divided 0? Sorry, I want to find y, right? So yeah, what is pi divided 0? Okay, when you take pi divided 0, it's not 0. Okay, when you divide by 0, it's not 0. When you divide by 0, it's infinity, it's math error. You can try with your calculator. You can tekan 1 bahagi 0, 2 bahagi 0, anything bahagi 0 is math error. The calculator will give you math error. So when you divide by 0, it's not 0. It means when you ganti x0, you will get no answer. Okay, no answer. It means this graph don't have x-intercept, don't have x-intercept, don't have y-intercept. That is why when you ganti x0, y0, you tak dapat jawapan. Okay. Okay, then let's try with another point lah. Okay, let's try with pi lah. Okay, let's try with pi. So if I try with x, I ganti pi, what happens is pi over 2 pi. Cut left with 1 over 2. So yeah, this point is can plot pi 1 over 2 is where is it? Okay, this is 3, so this lebih kurang here 2, here 1 and then here negative 1, negative 2. So if I want pi 1 over 2 is like 1 half. So here, lebih kurang here, right? Okay, let's ganti another point now. Let's ganti pi over 2. So it become pi over 2x, and the x I will try to use pi over 2. So this will be pi over 2. Okay, cut, left with 1. So pi over 2, 1. So pi over 2, 1 is here, right? But I hope none of you draw like this. I hope none of you go and put ruler and then you draw like this. You draw a straight line like this. Itu memang salah. Itu memang salah. You know why salah? I told you already this is not a straight line, right? And do you remember just now what happens when you find x0? You get infinity, right? You get math error. It means this graph will not have any y-intercept. So if you draw like this, it's wrong already, right? The correct way is actually draw a curve, and it will the curve cannot touches the y-axis, right? But apa, I cari one more point, the 3 pi over 2, okay? If I cari satu lagi point, then you will understand why you cannot draw a straight line, okay? So 3 pi over 2, so it will be pi over 2x. The x, let's ganti with 3 pi over 2. Cut, left with 1 over 3. So this one is, when x is 3 pi over 2, is 1 over 3, right? So where is 1 over 3? 1 over 3 is like even lower than this, but you don't have to measure like just lebih kurang saja lah, like lebih kurang sini, right? So now it's time to draw, and dengan sini you tak boleh draw a straight line, you have to draw a curve, so the curve will look like this. Okay, and cannot touch the, what do you call it, the y-axis. Yeah, if you touch the y-axis, then salah already. Okay, let's draw it again. So it's like this, go up. Oh, try to make it sentuh the point. Okay, something like this lah. Okay, wait, let me draw nicely. Okay. Okay, the first time I draw it is good already, but I don't know why I erase it. Now I have to, okay. So it's like a curve, huh? Curve. Okay, like that, can already. Okay, so what's the equation? Y equals pi over 2x. Okay, let me tell you what this graph, what is the name of this graph? This graph, we call it reciprocal. Reciprocal. Okay, this type of graph, reciprocal. And the reciprocal graph looks like this, right? Yeah. They cannot touch the x-axis, y-axis one. They don't have x-intercept, y-intercept. It's like a curve. Okay, that is why it's like that lah. Okay, so yep, done already. Now we can find our NOS, which is the number of solutions. So what is the number of intersection point between this and this? 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So the NOS is 3. That is the number of solution lah. So yeah, hope you understand. Okay, all right. For my last question, part C, let's see what they want. There are two solutions obtained if y equals 3p over 2, okay, is sketched at the same axis in 13b such that p is constant. Find values of p. So they say if they sketch a line, there will be two solutions obtained if they sketch this line. Okay, and then they ask you to find value of p lah. Okay, first of all, we need to know this is a horizontal line. Because if they give you y equals to 3p over 2, it means this line have how many variable? This equation have how many variable? One variable only. P is not a variable. P is a constant. They already say P is a constant. So this equation only have one variable. And when you have one variable, means the line has to be, uh, it means it's a non-gradient line. It means the line is either like this or like this, right? But since this one, they say y equals, it means they akan potong y-axis. So potong y-axis means this one. You see, it's like horizontal line, right? So what I have to do now is I have to go to the graph and see where I should put the horizontal line. So where do you think I should put the horizontal line? They say already got two solutions. There will be two solutions obtained if this horizontal line is sketched at the same part. I hope you understand why I say it's a horizontal line, because it's like y equals to something, right? And there's no x here. So remember, when the equation only have y, one variable, y only, ataupun x only, then it's a horizontal line. Ataupun vertical line lah, kalau x equals. But if the other dual variable, y and x, then it's a sengit punya line. Okay? That one is like y equals mx plus c lah, right? But this one, y equals number, that's why it's a horizontal line. So where should I put the line so that it will have two solutions? There is only two places that you can put the line. The first place is here, okay, and another line is here. Because if your line is horizontal, anywhere you put down here, you will have more than two solutions. Do you agree? Yeah, the only way you want two solution is you letak exactly at y equals 3 ataupun y equals -3. That's the only place, that's the only two possible spot to put the lines to have two solutions. You understand, right? Any other place you put the line, it will have more than two solutions. Okay, some student might say something like this. Hey, sir, what if I put like this? You see, two solution also. Hey, hello, I tell you already, right? This line is not a gradient line. Dia tak ada gradient punya. Dia satu variable. It means this line is not like y equal mx plus c. It's like a horizontal line. So you cannot draw like a sengit line macam ni. So it's like definitely have to be horizontal. So if it has to be horizontal, and if it has to be two solution, then it must be y equals -3 and y equals 3. All the place in between will give you more than two solution. So I already know the answer will be y equals 3 and y equals -3, right? So if I want two solution, I must put it at the horizontal line must be at y equals 3 or y equals -3. This is the only two possible spot. But they mentioned that y is equals to 3p over 2, right? And then find values of p. It means there will be two answers lah, because they say values got s, right? Yeah, got two answers because got two possible spot. So now I will just take 3p over 2 equals 3, and then 3p over 2 equals -3. Then I can get the p answer. Okay, the first answer, 3 times 2, 6, 6 divided 3, 2. Yep. -3 times 2, -6 divided 3, -2. So this is the answer for P. 2 and -2. Okay, hope you understand. Kalau tak ada masalah, let's continue. Okay, number 14a. I'm gonna do it up here. Let's read. If a is the first term and r is the common ratio of a geometric progression, show that the sum to infinity progression is this one. So let's write down the formula for sum to infinity. A over 1 minus r. Okay, and then beside they will write something like this. R has to be smaller than 1. Okay, tak apa, saya nanti explain. Let's see how many marks first. Oh, 2 marks only. Okay, if 2 marks only, then I know how I want to do it already. Okay, first thing first. This is what question? Progression, right? And they want me to prove the S infinity formula, which is the geometric punya S infinity formula lah. So they ask us to derive the formula ataupun prove the formula ataupun show the formula lah. So this is one of the formula that we learn in our syllabus. Okay, it's the S infinity formula. So how do we show it? You will show it using the Sn formula, right? And what is the Sn formula for geometric progression? Okay, let's talk about all the formula inside geometric progression. First formula is Tn, which is AR power n minus 1. Next formula is Sn, and other two formula for Sn. Satu punya is like bawah is 1 minus r, satu lagi is bawah r minus 1. If bawah 1 minus r, then the Sn formula atas kena tulis A bracket 1 minus r power n. Right? Tapi kalau bawah r minus 1, then the Sn formula atas kena tulis A, okay, tak ada bracket. So A and then bracket r power n minus 1. So remember, always r yang kena power n dekat atas. Okay? Tapi bawah punya r tak ada power n. Okay, the last one is S infinity, which is A over 1 minus r. Okay? Okay, so now after writing all the formula for geometric progression, now I will show you how I prove it. So you will prove this using the Sn formula, but which one? This one. Okay, because the S infinity formula bawah is 1 minus r, right? So it's easier if you do it with this instead of this one. Okay, but actually you want to prove this also can. Yeah, you can also. It's just that you have to do a little bit extra working lah. But if it's easier if you do it from this. So let's write down the Sn formula. A bracket 1 minus r power n over 1 minus r. And then how we want to show for S infinity. Okay, what is infinity? Infinity is a very big number. Very, very big. Like so big that you cannot press in your calculator. It's like very, very big. Okay, it's like sangat besar punya number. That's why it's called it infinity. So imagine if we make n a very big number. What happens to this whole thing? The n will be very big because the n is like infinity. It means a very big number. So if you take r, which is the common ratio, power a very big number, what you will get? An even bigger number lah, correct? Like even bigger number. But if your r is in between 0 and 1, then it's different. Because if your r is in between 0 and 1, what does it mean by r is between 0 and 1? It means your r is like 0 point something, like 0 0.5, 0 0.3, like numbers that are in between 0 and 1, right? That's why they write this. So this and this is the same meaning. What does it mean by modulus r smaller than 1? It means your r has to be positive, but has to be smaller than 1 at the same time. It means in between 0 and 1 lah. Yeah lah, because if I say modulus r smaller than 1, it means your r must be in between 0 and 1 lah. This one and this one is the same thing actually, right? Okay, Tapa, I will explain to you why the r has to be in between 0 and 1 to prove the S infinity. Because when okay, r is when modulus r is smaller than 1, it means like your r is like 0 point something, and your n is infinity, your r power n will be 0. Okay, I repeat one more time. When this r value is like a 0 point something punya value, and when you power with a very big number, you will get 0. Okay, you can try with your calculator. Like let's say 0. Okay, what 0.3 lah, and then you try to tekan power 10, and then 0.3 power 100, and then 0.3 power 1000. Okay, okay, let's try using calculator and see what I get. 0.3 power 10. Okay, you get 5.9 and then blah 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 times 10 power negative 6, and then 0.3 power 100. Wow, you get 5.15, but this time is like times 10 power negative 35, and then 0.3 power 1000, you get 0. So I think you understand, right? I think you understand, right? What does it mean by 10 power negative 6? It means you have to move this one ke depan 6 kali. This one you have to move ke depan 35 times, move depan. So you can see that when the base is like 0 point something, and you besarkan the power, the answer will approach 0. You understand, right? But this will only happen when the R is in between 0 and 1. If the R is like, let's say 3, then this will not work. If the answer is 3, when you power with a very big number, you will get an even bigger number. But if it's 0 point something, if your base is 0 point something, and you power a very big number, you will get 0. Eventually, you will get 0. That's what I meant by the R has to be in between 0 and 1. Okay, so when your modulus R is smaller than 1, means R between 0 and 1, and your n is approaching infinity, your R power n will be 0. So now your S infinity will be what? It will be A, and instead of writing 1 minus R over n, it will be 1 minus 0, because if your R is in between 0 and 1, and your n is like very big, S infinity, then it's just gonna be the R power n will just be 0, and then over 1 minus R. And then now you prove the formula already, it will be A over 1 minus R, because 1 minus 0 is 1, and then 1 times A is just A. So this is the S infinity formula. Okay, and then we can write the word shown. Okay, or you can write proven also. But the question asks us to show, so I will write shown. Okay, okay, this is how you show it. So only 2 marks only. So yeah, this is good enough. And remember, when we write S infinity formula, we always have to write this beside, which is the modulus R has to be smaller than 1. Okay, modulus R smaller than 1. Modulus R smaller than 1 means the R has to be in between 0 and 1. That's what it means. Okay, means the R must be positive, but at the same time have to be smaller than 1. Means in between lah. Okay. Okay. Hope you understand my explanation for A. Now we can do B. Okay, B question. Let's read. Diagram 9 shows a pattern that repeat itself to infinity. So you just keep on repeating until infinity, consisting squares and shaded red triangle. So these are all squares. So it means this must be 6 also, and this is also square, right? Inside this one also consisting of square. So everything is square lah here. So it means I can get here is 3, 3, 3, 3 lah. Okay, and then this one also 3, 3, 3, and then the next square will be like half of it, I guess. Okay, but tak apa, kita baca dulu. The length of side of big square is 6 cm. So the big square side is 6 cm. And then number 1 says find the base length of the fifth triangle. Okay, let's not find the base length of fifth triangle. Let's form a progression using the base length first. Okay, let's form a progression. So what is the base length of the first triangle? 3. Okay, 3. And then the base length of the second triangle, it will be, okay, this whole thing will be 3 also. That's why when you add, you get 6. But the triangle is only half of it. So it's like 1.5. And then the next one will be 1.5 divide 2. It means this is a geometric progression. Okay, you just keep on dividing by 2. So this one is 1.5. And now I will press 1.5 divide 2. Okay, my calculator give me 0.75. So that is the third base length. And then it keeps going. So what would be the A and what would be the R? The A first term will be 3, the R will be 1 over 2, because every time you are dividing by 2. So now you can find the base length for the fifth triangle, T5. We use this formula. I got write it just now, right? The Tn formula, which is AR power n minus 1. So let's go. A is the 3, R is 1 over 2, power n minus 1, 5 minus 1. Okay, 5 minus 1 is 4, and then 1 over 2 power 4 is just 1 over 16, and the answer is 3 over 16. And I think you have to write cm because it's the base length. So yeah, the unit you have to write. So that is the answer. So that's it. Now let's do number 2. Number 2 says find the area of shaded region in cm square. So the shaded region is the blue color one. Okay, how to find area of shaded region? Okay, you need to know got how many triangle. Got infinity, right? Because they say this pattern repeat until infinity. So what I have to do is I have to form a progression using the area first, but area of triangle, or you can say blue lah, area of blue region. Okay, or you can also write area of shaded region. So you form a progression first, and then you find the S infinity lah. Okay, because there's how many shaded region? There's infinity of it, right? So it means you are taking area of triangle plus area of triangle plus area of triangle plus until infinity. It means you are finding S infinity. But you cannot use this progression to do S infinity. That one is base length. That one is base length. You have to form a new progression using the area. So what is the area of first triangle? 1 over 2 times base times height, which is 3, 3. Because the base is 3, the height is 3. Next triangle is 1 over 2 times 1.5 times 1.5. And then the third triangle is 1 over 2 times 0.75 times 0.5 square, like that. Okay? So what you get for the first triangle, 3 times 3, 9. So 9 divided 2, 9 over 2 lah. And then 1.5 times 1.5 divide 2. Let's press. Okay, my calculator give me 9 over 8. Yeah, 9 over 8. So I'm forming a new progression. Okay, and then 0.75 times 0.75 divide 2. Okay, my calculator give me 9/32. Okay, but you don't have to write so many terms, just write 3 terms. Okay, now I can see already it forms a progression. The A is first term is 9/2, and this is a geometric also. Okay, you use 1/4. Okay, you can press calculator, just tekan 9/4, write 9/2, right? And you will get, it's not 1/4. Wait, let me press. This one is not 9/4 lah. This one is 1 point. Press. Okay, sorry, I made a careless mistake. This is 9/8, not 9/4. Okay, when you tekan 1.5 times 1, you'll get 9/8. So that's why your R will be 9/8 divide 9/2. And if you press that 9/8 divide 9/2, you will really get 1/4. Or you can also take 9/32 divide 9/8, you get 1/4 also. It means your area, every time you have to divide 4 lah. Times 1/4 means divide 4, divide 4, divide 4 like that. Okay, now you can find the area of shaded region, the blue color one. You do S infinity. You understand, right? Why S infinity? Because you are finding this area plus this area plus this area plus. So you're finding the sum. But why infinity? Because the pattern, the blue color, this pattern, how to say, keep going until infinity. That's why. So the formula is A over 1 minus R. The A is 9/2. And then 1 minus R, which is 1/4 like that. And then you will get 9/2 divide by 1 minus 1/4 is just going to be 3/4. Okay, 9/2 divide 3/4 means times 4/3. And then potong tinggal 3, potong tinggal 2. 3 times 2 is 6. And since its area is cm square, right? So that's the answer. Okay, hope you understand. Okay, finally we are at the last question, number 15. Okay, let's finish it. Given that x is a discrete random variable where x be 6p. Okay, you need to understand, if they give you x, b, the number in front here, that would be the n, this would be p. But what if they write, n? If they write n, then you have to write, then the in front one will be mean, this will be variance. Okay, n stands for normal distribution, b stands for binomial. Okay, but this question is binomial definitely, so I'll refer this one. So the 6 is actually n, so I already have my first information, n is 6. The p is the probability of success, but they never give us, so far, so I just leave it. And then they say px equals 6 is 1/64, find value of p. Okay, I will use the probability formula, which is px equals x equals to ncx, p power x, q power n minus x. This is the formula we always use when it's a binomial. Okay, so they already say the answer is 1/64. So what is the formula for px equals 6? 66, because the n is also 6 and then the x is also 6, and then bracket, the bracket will be probability of success p, but they never give us, so tak boleh buat apa lah, just tulis p saja. And then this one q also tak bagi, so just tulis q, and then this will be power 6, this will be power 0, and the whole thing will give you 1/64, right? So it's okay if you don't have the q, because anything power 0 is 1, so this one this one can cut, right? But I recommend in the exam don't cut lah, just cut it in your head. The 66 also can cut because it's 1. Okay, but just cut it in your head. So this one cut, you just left with p power 6 equals 1/64. So how to find p? It will be the 6th root of 1/64. And you can press calculator. Let me teach you how to press. First, you tekan 6, and then you tekan shift the power button. Okay, so I repeat, tekan 6 and then tekan shift the power button. Okay, the power button is beside log. Beside log. Okay, but you have to tekan shift dulu, baru tekan the power button, and then 1/64. Okay, my calculator give me 1/2, so that's the P answer lah. So this is worth 3 marks. So yeah, that's all. Okay, sudah siap. Okay, finally, last question. Let's go B. The probability distribution for a discrete random variable x equals 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is given by px equals r equals to this one for each r. Number 1, find the value of m. So for B, I will do it here. Okay, usually when we are doing binomial distribution, we will use this formula, right? Which is the formula that we learn in our syllabus, this one, right? But this question is very weird because they give us their own formula, which is this one, px equals r equals m bracket 2r plus 1. So if they give us their own formula, should I use the formula yang dia bagi or formula yang saya belajar? So which one? Mestilah we have to use the formula yang dia bagi, right? So for this question, I'll be using the formula that the question gives us, which is this one, right? And it's very easy because we just have to ganti R sahaja, okay? Okay, let's see what they want. Find the value of m. So this is the possible values of x. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, if you want to find value of m, it means I need to have the r and the probability, right? I need to have this and I need to have this. The r will be all these values, but they never give us any probability. But we do know that the total probability is always 1. So what is the total probability? Total probability is always 1, right? That is why we can find all of it lah, and then plus everything equals 1. Okay, let me explain to you my thought process. Okay, just now I was thinking how to find m, and let me explain to you my thinking process. So if I want to find m, I need to have r, and I need to have the probability of that r. And r means this x. The r is the x, right? So I have r value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the problem is I don't have the probability for px equals 0, px equals, I don't have. Dia bukan macam tadi. Macam tadi dia bagi at least, oh, the probability is 1 over 64. That's why I can like cari balik. But this one, they never give us any probability. They just give us the values of x. And then I think about like, how to do, dia tak bagi probability. So suddenly I remember the total probability is always 1, right? So what we can do is find for everyone lah, and then tambah everything equals 1. So let me show you. First, I will find px equals 0. So when px equals 0 means the r have to sub 0. So it'll be m and then 2 times 0 plus 1. Okay, but use big bracket lah. So you will end up with 1m, because 2 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1, 1, like 1m lah. And then try with px equals 1. So now your r have to sub 1, so it becomes m big bracket 2r plus 1. And then your r is just going to be 1, and then here later you calculate lah. And then do for px equals 2, px equals 3, px equals 4. Okay, okay, let's go. This one is m, the formula is 2r plus 1. This one is m, 2r plus 1. And then this one is m, 2r plus 1. And the r is 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay, what is 2 times 1? 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So 3m. And this one is 2 times 2, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. So 5m. And this one is 2 times 3, 6, 6 plus 1, 7. 7m. 2 times 4, 8, 8 plus 1, 9. 9 times m, 9m. As you can see, the answer forms a progression, right? It's like every time you plus 2, right? So plus 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 2, 7. So like every time you plus 2. Okay. Okay, after you reach here, now you can find your value of m lah. So even because they never give us probability, right? But we do know the total probability for always is always 1. So we can take everything here plus equals 1. So m plus 3m plus 5m plus 7m plus 9m equals 1. So m dengan m boleh buat. So yang ni tak ada depan means 1, 1, right? So 1m plus 3m is 4m, 4m plus 5m is 9m, 9m plus 9m is 18m, 18 plus 7, 25m. And then m is 1 over 25. Okay, that is the answer for question 1. Oops, what happened? All right, now for my final last part, last question. So number 1 sudah siap, m value saya sudah cari 1 over 25. Okay, last part is question 2. Draw a graph for the probability distribution of x. Okay, let's go. Number 2, where is it? Okay, this one lah. Okay, I have to draw it here. Okay, but if I want to draw it here, I need to have all the values of r, which is the x lah. R is the x, okay, and all the values of the probability. But now all my r sudah ada 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but all the probability is like m, 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 m. So I think I have to change all this to. Because I know my m already, right? So I will have to change to 1 over 25, and then this one is 3 times 1 over, which is 3 over 25. This one is 5 over 25. This one is 7 over 25. This one is 9 over 25. Yeah, so all this I have to how to say, label in my axis later. Okay, so now let's start to draw the graph. Oh, by the way, this graph, when you draw graph, you need to find out all the values like this. And then for the x-axis, you will write down the x value, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's go to the x-axis and write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a lot of students, they will write like this, 0. Okay, please don't do that. Okay, for only for this chapter, you don't do that. Because for this chapter, the 0 have probability also. So the 0, you will write here. This is the correct way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Okay, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the y-axis is for you to write the probability. Okay, if you look at the probability, it's all 1 over 25, 3 over 25, 5 over 25, all this, right? So you can choose a suitable scale, right? So 1 over 25, is the smallest, 9 over 25. So if you can count it like this, you can go like this. Like this one is 1 over 25, and then this one is 2 over 25, 3 over 25, 4 over 25, 5 over 25 is here, and then 6 over 25, and then 7 over 25, 8 over 25, 9 over 25, right? It means every time you go up, it's tambah 1 over 25 plus 1 over 25 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 macam tu. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 macam tu. Alright, so this is a suitable scale lah. Okay, after you reach here, now you can start to plot. So the first one, when the x is 0, the probability is 1 over 25. So when the x is 0, the probability is 1 over 25. So the point I will put here. Okay. Alright, next one. Next one is when x is 1, the probability is 3 over 25. So when x is 1, 3 over 25. So it's here. Next one, when, okay, I already know lah the answer. Okay, because every time you plus 2, right? So the next one is 5 over 25. The next one is 7 over 25. 9 over 25, right? But you don't go and join like this. Hey, no, 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 no. This is a discrete random variable. If it's discrete means if you draw like this, it becomes a continuous graph already. This one is discrete. Discrete means all these points are not connected. So you just tarik bawah macam ni. Yeah. Like this. This is how you draw. This is the binomial distribution punya graph. Okay, this is how it should look like. So px equals 3, and then you naik sampai dia punya probability and so on. Okay, I think I'm done with this paper. Yeah. Is this the last question? Yeah, 5 marks, 3 marks, 8 marks total. And yeah, that's the end. Okay, kertas peperiksaan tamat. See you next video. Bye bye.